there's no such thing as an easy dollar. It's just not. Think about the people who are the wealthiest individuals in the world. Think about the people who are top 10%. Think about the person who makes $150,000 a year. $150,000 a year in real estate, that's not easy.
How do you guys kind of approach it, the Federal Reserve meetings, given you're loaning money based off of the rate policies? So how are you seeing it? What do you think they're going to do? If you know, how are you guys preparing for in case, we're higher for longer?
So what's up, y'all? Nick Campo here. This is the Loan Guys Podcast. We're all about building wealth through real estate. And man, oh man, we got Matt and Luigi here, special guests. Go ahead and introduce yourself, fellas.
Hey guys, I'm Matthew Montelis. I'm a commercial real estate broker with SVN Blackstream, and you can find me on all social medias at Monty Sells Industrial.
What's up, y'all? I'm Luigi Villain, outside linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, originally from Ottawa, Canada, and I'm excited to be here.
Hell yeah, man. We're happy to have y'all. I'm Nick Campo, as y'all know, MTG Man Nick on all my social media. And, of course, go follow us on MBI Financial Group. If you haven't done it already, bang the red subscribe button, turn on notifications. We have a fun podcast. So here's what we're doing today. Luigi and Matt. So Matt and Luigi have known each other. Matt is representing Luigi and helping him build wealth through real estate. So we went to dinner the other night to introduce each other, get to know each other a little bit. We met through Joe Campo, who's our chief sales officer here, and the dinner went great. We had a great time. I think we talked more about just stories and stuff than we did about real estate. But we came up with the idea of there's a lot of people who are trying to be first-time investors, get into commercial real estate, residential real estate, could be rental properties. There's so many different avenues you can go. And I said to Luigi and Matt, I was like, I want to bring you guys on the podcast. So if it looks like we're a little squished in here, it's a little bit weird for y'all. It's because this is the first time we've had 3 people on the podcast. So they were our test subjects on that.
It's 3 big people.
Speak for yourself. So my challenge to them was, hey, I think this would be good for everybody that we know who watches the podcast, anybody who might want to be educated on how do I break into mortgage or real estate. So they put a bunch of questions together for me. Full disclosure, I did not find I don't know what the questions are. We wanted it to be just like it was at dinner the other night, where we just have open conversations, almost like friends having a conversation about, hey, what do we do? I'll pick your brain probably at some point about film and what you're seeing and Super Bowl run, and we'll talk about how my bet is 12 plus sacks. I know you want 10, but I want 12. And then you guys pick my brain. We'll just have a conversation, and let's do it. So cool. Who's got the first question or talk? Well, I guess first and foremost, before we just dive into questions, I know that you're in real estate. You're an agent. You're one of the top commercial agents in the area, from taking care of a client standpoint. From what I know about both you and your family, high standard. I like people with high standards.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
What are your real estate goals?
So getting into brokerage, one of the reasons why I first got into brokerage was I wanted to learn what makes a good deal, right? And the best way to do that is to encounter all types of deals with all types of owners, all types of people. And eventually I wanted to parlay that into a private equity, real estate development company.
Nice.
And I would just raise money from private investors and try to bring affordable housing. I come from one of the poorest counties in North Carolina, Robeson County. There's a real severe need for affordable housing in that county. So I wanted to use real estate as a way to give back to my community as well.
Nice.
Right.
I have somebody that you should talk to that does affordable housing, and I'll get you guys together. Because people think affordable housing and they automatically think Section 8, and that's not what it is. From my experience with the affordable housing piece, you can still make money as an investor in affordable housing. It's capped based on area median income. So there's different deals and such that you can do with there's different, I shouldn't say deals, there's different parameters. There's different programs out there, whether it's private programs or government-funded programs, from a tax credit standpoint, and then based on the area median income and what a certain individual is making, or it actually goes by room, whether it's a 1-room, 2-room, 3-room, 4-room, how much you can charge based on the AMI. So if they make 60%, if they make 60% or below of the area median income for a 1-bedroom, this is what you can charge.
Okay.
So it is it's pretty complicated from a tax structure standpoint because a lot of it is grant programs and tax give back. But I really like your vision there because that's giving back, right? Mm-hmm. I've always said, and I'm going to get your thoughts on this, Matt. What I have always told people is, in order to give back, you have to make it first.
Absolutely.
Right? It's hard to give back if you don't have anything as far as financially. So to me, 100%, the best way for anybody to give back is through capitalism, right? Mm-hmm. Which you guys wouldn't be here talking about this if we didn't believe in capitalism and being able to make money and doing it the right way, though. And, I think there's a negative connotation nowadays with wealthy people a lot of times. Oh, they must have done. Most wealthy people I know have done things the right way, or else the government's gotten them, or somebody else has gotten them, right? So eventually you want to give back. Leading, the equity fund, absolutely awesome idea. How close are you to making that happen? Are you still learning? Where are you in that timeline?
So we're still in the ground stages of building it up. Right now, I'm very keen on making as many relationships as I can with people, just to learn everything I can possibly about the space, or as much as I can. It's kind of like drinking water from a fire hose,
Always,
right?
Yeah.
But, right now I'm just establishing relationships with other prominent players in the space and just trying to figure out how it all works from a ground up development standpoint and implementing systems and processes to make it a lot more efficient.
Have people been pretty interested in helping, mentoring in that space?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that I love about real estate. All of the top players, they have an abundance kind of mindset.
Right.
And no one's really trying to cut your knees out from under you or anything like that. It's very much a give and take. Everyone's open, sharing, honest communication. It's been very fruitful.
Right. It's almost, it's very interesting to me because you have to have an abundance mindset, I think, to be successful, right? And also giving. You have to give something to receive, and it could be your knowledge, it could be your expertise, it could be helping people, it could be giving back to your community. There's a lot of different things. When you give, stuff comes back to you. And abundance is a big thing. I don't know if people really understand that there's more than enough for everybody, right? What would you say has been keys to your success so far?
I think the main thing, what my parents really raised me on, is grit. Right? Making sure that you don't quit even when it sucks, you don't feel like doing it. You might have been building a list or reading a bunch of articles, listening to a podcast or something, and you stay up too late, you wake up, that alarm goes off in the morning, I don't want to go out in the office, make cold calls and all that stuff. But, if one of my favorite quotes is, you've never seen a crackhead not have enough money to do the habit, right? So how are you going to let a crackhead out hustle you, right? So
you can't let a crackhead out hustle you.
Can't let a crackhead out hustle you.
I guess that we have a few cool quotes here. Shout out to Tom O'Neill, I think he was our first guest on the podcast ever. And he buys mobile home parks, and one of the things he said is get you a park narc. Actually, don't get you one park narc, get you 2 park narcs, because that way you have one on each side of the park, so you always know what's going on, because there's little rivalries and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the second favorite quote ever, or second quote that I think we need to put on the walls, is, how are you going to let a crackhead out hustle you? And that's don't let a crackhead out hustle you. I think that's one of my favorite things about this podcast is we get a bunch of different personalities on here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk to Luigi. Luigi, what's up, man? Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Before we start with real estate, undefeated this year?
Yeah, hopefully.
That's
the
goal.
That's the
right?
goal. Just be better than last year. Don't think that'll be too hard, but
no offense to last year.
No offense to last year, but yeah, definitely what our new head coach, Coach Canales, is bringing to the team. The type of weapons we have should be great.
Oh yeah, dude, we're super excited to have you. One of the avenues that here at MBI we've been working with is professional athletes, and we have a few different connections. I was telling you about it at dinner, and I'm not going to talk about that deal here because NDAs and stuff. But I think it's super cool because there's sometimes a negative connotation with professional athletes. Blowing money, things of that nature. And just talking to you and actually talking to the modern day athlete, I think the education around the financial literacy,
it's gotten better.
It's so much better.
It's a lot better, yeah.
Did you see that I think it was ESPN 30 for 30. with all the different, like from when we were, well, probably I'm a little bit older than you, but from when I was a kid, all the biggest athletes I saw, was it Antonio Pierce? Maybe I forget exactly who
That's
it was.
The Raiders head coach?
Not the Raiders head coach. I'm sorry. The Boston Celtics player made a ton of money. Great 3-point shooter. He was kind of pudgy basketball player. I forget what his name was, but he was really good at Antonio something. I'm getting old. But they did a whole 30 for 30 about the culture and the losing of money. And I don't, honestly, I've never put it on the professional athlete, because when you come from an area like where I grew up or where you grew up, and we've been talking about, there's a financial literacy issue. So part of the reason I'm so excited to have you on here is because you're a young NFL player.
And I'm fairly new to the real estate space.
Very new, yeah. And it shows you're doing the right thing with your money, right?
Yeah,
which is super exciting. So
my guy here has been helping me out a lot, teaching me a lot.
He works with professional athletes, so if you're just a regular Joe on the streets, like if he's working with Luigi, he must know what he's doing,
right?
And Luigi vouches for him, and Matt vouches for Luigi, and it's a great relationship. Tell me your goals in real estate.
Honestly, it's fairly new, but I'm into the fix and flip.
Dude.
Right now, he's teaching me about that. Right now, I'm still in the learning stages, just trying to grasp as much as I can. But definitely looking to get my foot in the door fairly soon with the deal that we have coming up. So, yeah.
Nice. Tell me about the deal.
Yeah.
So there's basically 4 parcels right next to each other in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Cool.
The heart of downtown Fayetteville. And it's an emerging market, for lack of, to call it that, I guess. It needs a bit of work, though. So right now, it's a bit hairy. There's some people in there that they're trying to evict, but thankfully we live in North Carolina. The eviction laws aren't too.
It's not California
or New York, right?
Right. Yeah, California and New York are tough to get people out. There's squatter rights and stuff, which is kind of how do you do that, right?
Yeah, I see the videos all the time on social media. It looks like a pretty big headache, but
I saw one the other day where somebody passed away. The home went into an estate. The family was working out the estate, and then squatters moved in. I think it was in New York, and they had a really hard time getting them out because all they had to do in New York is get a bill with the address on it, and when the police come,
it doesn't even have to be real either.
It doesn't even have to be real.
Photoshop.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, NFL player, how did you start thinking about real estate?
Honestly, through him mostly, but growing up, I always told myself, after football, I want to do stuff for me. I don't want to work for anybody, and I think real estate is a great avenue for that.
It is
to where I can start now. You know what I mean? I don't have to wait till after football. So that was kind of the main process. I always knew that I wanted to get involved in the real estate world, but I didn't know how. And then Monty, who I've known for about 5-6 years now.
Yeah. Michigan days.
Yeah, Michigan days. Even before that, when I was in high school.
Cool.
Or when we were in high school. He's been teaching me a lot about that world. So yeah, I'm excited.
When did you know you wanted to get into real estate? How long? Were you a young kid or?
Honestly, younger, a lot younger. I want to say before high school.
Okay.
I didn't know how. Like I said, I didn't know how, but I knew that I wanted to own homes and fix them up. I used to watch a bunch of those fix and flip shows on HGTV.
Chipping Joanna Gaines and all that.
Yeah.
So. Flip. I think my first one with was Flip or Flop. Have you ever seen that one?
What's the one with the twins?
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, I forget what that one is. But they were, they're still on TV, dude. It's wild. They've gotten one of them got jacked for a while. They were doing pull-ups and stuff in the house. I remember we were young when that was on. So you knew possibly before high school. Outside of the show, was it the shows that originally attracted you? Did you know any investors? You're from Canada originally.
Yeah.
I know a lot of investors in Canada. I think things might be getting a little bit tougher from a property
rights
standpoint.
It is tougher over there, yeah, for sure.
But there are opportunities still.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, I don't understand Canadian real estate and real
Me
estate
either.
law.
I've been here so long to where I pretty much, I don't want to say I consider myself American, but I'm very in tune with the laws out here and a lot more than back home in Canada. So
Right. I mean, we're neighbors.
Yeah, we're right there.
I'm from upstate New York. I could probably like run to your house
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
when you were growing up. So I tell the people from Buffalo, like, oh, you're nice Canadians. And they get really mad about that, especially like Bills fans. So my wife's a big Panthers fan. We went to it was Bills at Panthers. It was probably 5 years ago. It was when Cam was still playing, maybe longer.
Craziest fans, by the way.
Oh, they are
the Bills,
wild.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Bills Mafia. Shout out to y'all, but you're great Canadians. And so we were giving them hell. They were super nice, but we were joking around, going back and forth. And I bought the guy a beer, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm from upstate New York. I'm not too far from you, but Buffalo is like 4 hours north of me, or well, north west ish. But yeah, Buffalo ended up winning the game, 10-7. But we were sitting there and we were going back and forth, and I said to my wife, I said, just tell them that you love Canada, like you can't wait to visit Buffalo.
Sets them off. Huh?
Oh, dude, it's great. It's great. It's like in a fun way though.
Yeah.
If your perfect definition of like your vision of your first property that fix and flip, or your first property, what would it be?
Probably the one in Fayetteville. Like
Yeah.
that deal is something about it that attracts me. Getting the most out of that area.
Okay.
There's a potential of having, I want to say, like 5 or 6 income producing properties. So,
That's really cool.
yeah, like that one, it excites me a lot. You know, I'm not one to jump at an opportunity. I like to sit back and you know, watch and get all the information that I need, and then you know, I have obviously like a full team, like my financial advisor.
Nice.
I like to know what he thinks.
Yeah.
So it's a whole process for me, but something about this deal definitely interests me.
So have you put numbers together to make sure, like, hey, I'm going to have to put X, Y, and Z into it. Cash flow is going to be this. After repair value should be this.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Joe at all about
Yeah.
Yeah,
helping?
so we've talked about it a little bit, and honestly, that's why we're here too. So, you know, getting the information we need from NBI should be.
I think we need to open up our own show, Property Brothers 2.
That would be great.
Joe.
That'd be fire. Yeah.
All right, well, let's do it. You guys have a list of questions. How many questions are there?
There's a lot.
Yeah. I got 50.
I'm
Personally, I have
Yeah,
50.
I have about.
Got to block off the day.
I'm kind of nervous. So full disclosure for everybody watching, I'm the face behind the business, but the brains is sitting out there. So we might have to call in a pinch hitter every once in a while. I should know most of the answers. But I'm going to be honest. Ben Singleton, you guys know him who've watched the show. Him and I do the podcast together. It's just the two of us, and we'll give market updates and stuff. Ben is... I hate complimenting him. Do you like complimenting your friends? I don't.
Not when they got a big head. So.
Well,
Ben
he
doesn't have
doesn't.
a big head.
Ben does not have a big
Okay,
head.
then you do that for
So Ben
easily.
Ben is people on the internet like Ben better than me. I like to just kind of shit talk and have a good time, but I know what I'm doing, right? Ben knows the interworkings of pretty much any deal, the guidelines, all of it. So I need you to dial Ben up just in case I need him to hop in here and give his opinion or his, to answer some of their questions, because I'm hoping that you guys are going to hit me with some tough questions, because I think the best value that we're going to provide here, outside of y'all learning, is everybody else gets to learn from us.
Yeah.
And that's a form of giving, and we're going to be blessed because of that. So I'm super excited. Hit me. Let's go.
Well, as far as the tough questions, I think he'll have that, but mine will probably revolve around just, me being in the being new into the real estate world, and a lot of the stuff that I want to learn, like beginner wise,
Cool.
so that you guys can teach me.
Heck yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
for everybody watching, and for you guys, and I told you this, Mike and myself and Ben, we also have a properties company where we buy dilapidated properties, fix them up, rent them out. We have a couple acres of land that we're going to develop on and put some homes and rent them out. So we don't fix and sell. We fix and hold.
Yeah.
So I do have some experience with this, and it's my favorite form of real estate. And also, just so everybody, from a commercial standpoint, if you have commercial questions, we're under contract on 109 Hampton Street, which is right over here.
Congratulations. Round of
Thank
applause.
you. That's also a dilapidated commercial property. So we'll see if everything checks out engineering and architect-wise.
Yeah.
Cool.
That happened this week, so we're pretty fired up about that. MBI is going to plant our roots here in Rock Hill and hopefully grow to 2,000 to 3,000 employees. That's what you guys met Eric when you came in. he asked, he was like, I don't know if you saw, but he's kind of jacked.
Super huge.
I thought he was security when I first walked in. I was like,
He
who
is.
this?
He is.
Shook my hand.
He failed though. Y'all got right in. He failed.
Here's the thing: is I love Eric, and he's awesome. He is a strong dude, but he's kind of short. And so when he saw y'all, he was like, "Were they professional athletes or something?" I was like, "No, those are just my homies."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm just kidding.
those
They're
are our
professional
buddies.
athletes. They're built different." Right. So, but all right, let's go. Let's do this.
Well, yeah, mine probably, being a professional athlete and doing what I do. What's a good starting point for someone like me?
So, what I would advise anybody who's a professional athlete, especially professional athletes who have not done this before, or anybody with money in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, people just assume a professional athlete has millions of dollars, and that's just not the case.
No, it's
not all the time.
You got first round picks, you have
Right.
third round picks, you have undrafted. Like it's a whole scale.
Right.
It's different,
And you have to earn it in the NFL. You also have to earn it
Absolutely.
in real estate.
Absolutely.
Right? So think about it like this. Every day you wake up, you're getting after it. And thankfully, coach gives you Fridays off, or that's why you're here, right? But you're getting after it 7 days a week. Yeah. And even when you aren't at practice or you don't have to watch film, you're thinking about it.
You're thinking about it. You're, going to get your body worked on. You're getting massages.
Right.
You're taking care of your body. It's a full-time job.
And it takes a team.
Yeah, it takes a team.
And everybody has a different role.
Exactly.
And you have to make sure that you're putting the people around you. One, you need to trust them. Mm-hmm. Number two, you need to put knowledgeable individuals around yourself. Right. And then you have to work cohesively as a team and understand that everybody's wanting to get this close. But the number one thing that my advice to you, and I gave you this advice when we were eating dinner, was don't put – if you have – I'm just going to throw out random numbers. If you have let's just say $500,000 that you feel that you can spend on real estate, be willing – you have to have in your mind that you're okay with losing that $500,000 and it's not going to affect you, right? Now, I do think that real estate's a very good investment. I think it's probably one of the least risky investments that professional athletes can get into because especially if you hold.
Yeah.
So typically if you hold, the markets are eventually going to go up from a long-term play. But what I would say is if you say, hey, we have $500,000 I want to invest, cut that number in half, and then take half of the half that you cut it in half and set that aside for the things that will pop up because there's a lot that are going to come up that you're not going to know about. It's the unseen, the unforeseen, the unseen expenses, even with inspections and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
When there's walls up in a building or in a house, there's only so much you can see.
Yeah.
So my advice would be twofold. Don't overspend, right? And what you think you're going to spend, make sure you're comfortable losing it.
Right.
And if you were to lose it, I would even take, especially for the first few, take half of what you want to spend and then apply that rule to it. And that's super conservative of me. But like I said to you, when we first got on the podcast, one of the things I want to do is I want to see professional athletes win because athletes in general, even Division I athletes, Division II, Division III. If you played college athletics, high school as well, but college athletics, and you can vouch for this, through the NFL, it becomes a full-time job, right? And you have to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. So you've earned every single dollar because you've put in 20, 30 years of work, depending on how long you play. Yeah. I want to see that dollar protected, so I would go very conservative, especially while I'm learning, because the amount of time and hustle that you've put into this, you also have to put similar time into the housing piece, right? Into mortgage, into real estate, really into anything that you want to make money at. I was talking to the team about there's no such thing as an easy dollar. It's just not. Think about the people who are the wealthiest individuals in the world. Think about the people who are top 10%. Think about the person who makes $150,000 a year. $150,000 a year in real estate, that's not easy. It's hard.
It's very hard, yeah.
It's hard. And then at each level where you're leveling up, so like when you went from high school to college, you leveled up, right?
Yep.
And when you went from college to NFL, you leveled up.
Yep.
And at each level, you start at the bottom. So in high school, as a freshman, you were here and the seniors were here. Well, when you became a senior, and then
constant work,
and then you went to college and you were a freshman again, right?
Yeah.
And you were the next level, you're here, and then NFL, you're here on the bottom rung of that level. At real estate, you're essentially a middle school football player. You're learning, right? So rely on your team. Make sure you have a good team that you trust. one of the things that you said where you want to get everyone's opinion, I think that's perfect because we all have these blinders like racehorses, right? The only way to get rid of those blind spots is to get people around you who aren't yes men.
Yeah.
And make sure that they point out the fallacies in everything that you're looking at, but not just from one person, because they have blinders as well.
Right.
A team of 4 to 5 good people, I think, can really help you. And then the other pieces I would look for a mentor.
Right.
Somebody who's done exactly what you're looking to do.
Right.
And then have conversations on pitfalls. There's a lot of people in the mortgage real estate, commercial real estate, even like when the stuff that we were talking about, like capital raises that we've done for athletes and such. There's a lot of mentors and there's a lot of people who are willing to give back. So that's my suggestion. Good team.
There's a lot of NFL players too that are doing this. So
Right.
It wouldn't be hard to reach out to some of my teammates that have been doing it. So
I would talk. Listen, dude, 100%.
And I have.
Rely on, you have, but rely on those resources.
For sure.
When something pops up that you've never run across, ask them, but ask multiple people because every experience is different.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a very good question, and my advice is to any professional athlete, anybody who's looking to get into it, and also run the numbers.
Right.
Make sure you're running numbers. Don't
Run them twice.
run them twice.
You better.
Right. Run them twice. Show your financial advisors. Do all of that because at the end of the day, there's going and like I said, account for that unforeseen.
Right.
So
Like
great question.
One of the golden rules that I kind of like view, like the number one job is to not lose money because if you lose money, you're going to be out of the game. Right. That's what took out a lot of people in '08. They were over leveraged to the hilt, and then everything went into default, and everybody lost their money except the people who were smart. They didn't take out too much debt. They were very prudent. They refinanced conservatively, and then when opportunity came, they were able to make a killing.
The ones who really made it too are the ones who were able to see that coming because they saw everybody taking these big risks, right? So like the movie The Big Short, have you guys seen it?
I actually watched it after
we
had
talked.
dinner.
What'd you think?
It was good.
It's exactly
everybody
what
thought he
happened.
was crazy.
Oh, right, dude. But it's exactly what happened. He found whenever there's one choke point, and in that case, it was the people rating the bonds. So for everybody who doesn't know, mortgages, they're taking their package and they're sold as mortgage-backed securities bonds on the secondary market. So you have A paper, B paper, C paper, D paper, and F paper. And it doesn't matter what your rating is, and a lot of it's based off credit score, down payment, type of house. There's a lot that goes into it. It doesn't matter what your rating is. There's money out there, right? People are willing to take the risk if you're willing to make the payment. Right. So essentially there was fraudulent activity that happened that rated B paper as A paper, double B, C paper as B paper, right? And they packaged it, and when it was sold in the secondary market, what ended up happening was people couldn't pay, so it screwed up the secondary market, and then all of a sudden everything started crashing. That's when the government had to jump in. They saved the big banks, which to me as a capitalist, I don't like that. I think we have to allow businesses to fail so that new businesses can rise up and be better. How do we learn our lessons if we don't? And the answer is we don't learn our lessons. But that's when a lot of the regulation and stuff came in. So The Big Short is very accurate on what happened. So
Yeah, exactly. So I think I have a question for you about mortgage portability. Like it was one of the things that we were learning in one of our creative financing classes, how people are able to like kind of port their mortgages to kind of acquire different properties. Can you talk to us about that a little bit more? Or
So
have you seen
they're taking the mortgage that they have and moving it to a different property? I have not seen that.
Yeah.
Ever in my career. Yeah.
It's called mortgage portability.
Might be a Ben question.
I would be surprised. Bring him in.
Let me see if I can call him. See if I can just run him through the podcast.
You would have to connect to Bluetooth.
Just
Oh, you've done it already? Were you Googling over there?
Just let me do what I do.
So mortgage portability, what I know that is similar to that is where you can get, it's essentially a credit line, and it's one big credit line for, say, like $5 million.
Yeah.
And that credit line would apply to any property that you wanted to, right? And you can even use that credit line. It's like a blanket loan almost, or a umbrella loan where you put everything under one. I don't know about portability. I do know about, assuming mortgages. I've assumed two in the last 12 months that were, in pre-foreclosure. And we took on the payments, got out of the pre-foreclosure and took over the properties, and now we're renting them out. Oh, wow, that's wild.
That's cool.
Watch him not answer.
He's not going to answer.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Jamin?
This is wild, dude. You're on the podcast live right now. It's a call-in.
That's insane. How did Mike figure that out of all people?
I don't know, man. I guess you got to put the oldest, wisest one behind.
I think
the
they call it
keyboard.
wicked smart.
So, Matt has a question for you. Monty has a question for you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Ben, it's nice to meet you.
You as well.
So have you heard of mortgage portability? For those who don't know, what's the definition of it? And, have you personally seen any examples of it done in transactions you've worked on?
Gotcha. So what was that term again?
Mortgage portability. And just Google it. It's basically you're taking a mortgage that's on a property and moving it to a different property.
Gotcha. I have not heard of that before.
Have you ever heard of that show, Stump the Schwab? You're the Schwab and you just got stumped.
You said you wanted the heavy hitters, right?
Yeah, that's a heavy hitter. That's really good,
just
man.
start out with it. Just, Jesus Christ.
Ben, Google it.
I'm doing that right now.
I phoned a friend and my friend, didn't help me.
Oh man, first question.
It's
almost like transferring debt to another credit card, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just haven't seen it with a mortgage because a lot of mortgage companies that we work with, they probably wouldn't like the risk. And then also the other.
Actually, it's when you transfer your existing mortgage deal when you move to a new home.
Yeah, you transfer that lien that is on that property that you were in, your first lien, which is your mortgage typically, would then transfer to your new address as the new first lien there. So where the pitfalls are that I would see is, people want to do it because of interest rate, right? So the pitfalls that I would see is, hey, okay, so I have $200,000 outstanding on this house, but I'm buying this house for $500,000. There's going to be a gap there. Yeah. So now how do you make up that gap? Well, you could do a HELOC, home equity line of credit, but now you're leveraging at a higher, and you lose the equity, right? So that would be a pitfall in my opinion, because one of the things I would think is with one of the things I believe is the equity is super valuable.
Yep.
Right. So, but as far as portability, I don't even know how it works. Ben, you got anything for us?
No, I mean, so what it seems like is, like Mike said, it's when you're buying a new property, your mortgage transfers with you. So it seems like, the benefits for that, obviously right now too, you can move your 3% interest rate that you may have had from 2020 into a new home. You're also not going to have to start over your payments, right? So right now you only have, like, for example, if you've been making your mortgage payments for 7 years, only have 23 years left. You don't have to start over and go back to 30 years to that freedom point. So, there's definitely some advantages there. The only cost that I really can think of that would come up and this is all if your lender agrees to do it, is title costs. Because the mortgage is attached. How that works is when you close, it's actually attached to the property, right? So they'll file a lien on the property and secure it that way. So if you're buying a new home, there's still going to be some legal fees to get that transferred. But
typical
it
closing
sounds like
costs are what, $1,800 to $2,200 somewhere in there from a legal standpoint.
Correct. Yep.
And that's for residential. It's a little bit different for commercial.
Correct. But if you can get a lender to agree to do that, that sounds like a great option.
What are the downfalls that you see?
Getting the lender to agree to do that.
That's why I don't know why they would agree to it, because they lose out on a transaction, right?
Correct.
From our standpoint, with us brokering the deals out, I would try to convince the lender all day, because at the end, that's best. That's what's best for our client. The other I don't consider this downfall, but the other hurdle is, typically people are upgrading, right? So if you're upgrading, you have to have that gap. There's going to be a gap from a down payment from an equity standpoint, because typically on a primary residence, you have to bring in, say, at least 5%, 3.5% FHA, unless you do down payment assistance program, but 5% on conventional is typically the minimum. Unless you're a first-time home buyer, you can go to 3%. Yeah. And then if you work with us, we have a 1% DPA program on conventional. But
so
there's a gap.
So a negative portion for the porting is you have to reapply for the mortgage, and you may not qualify for it
at the same interest rate.
So another curious thing is,
I think that you would qualify, depending on how much. That's where I'm talking about with the gap. Like, think of it almost like an appraisal gap, right? So what I'm thinking is you're going to have to bring in more money, and where you may not qualify is CLTV, right? So if you don't have, say, an extra $100,000 to put down on a property, you'll want to go after like a HELOC or a concurrent second is what it's called, to make up the portion of that down payment. So they may not allow that. One, they may require you to have the cash. I don't know any of the rules behind this, full disclosure. Number two is there's a combined loan to value. Yeah. So if you're taking out a second, so with a combined loan to value, as we call it CLTV in the industry on the residential side, is how much equity do you have in the property, right? So most people will not let you go up. Like, you can go 100% on FH or USDA. You can go 100% on VA, but most of the time you cannot go to 100% on residential. You can on commercial because they don't check where the funds come from. They don't source funds on commercial. You can take a loan to put a down payment on commercial. They don't care. There's not a lot of regulation around it because it's considered business transaction. But on residential, they do source funds, and combined loan to value means you have more than one loan. So what's your combined LTV? How much equity do you have? And typically you can't get to 100%. So you're definitely going to need cash assets for a the down payment, or if there's a gap between what is required LTV wise and what you have for a loan.
So that kind of leads down an interesting avenue, right? So what happens if you decide to downsize? So let's say I'm porting my mortgage. I had a bunch of money I made in equity, and I'm trying to, downsize, and I want to keep my same 3% interest rate, and I don't want to pay an 8% on a smaller house. Let's say I had a 5-bed and I'm going to a 3 in a lower cost of living area.
So I don't know what would happen on a port.
I don't think they would agree to that.
I don't either.
I think they would. They're going to require an appraisal when they do that, before they transfer it. That's part of that approval process that Mike was mentioning. And if there's not enough equity there, I don't see them.
Do you know of a lender that does port mortgages?
So not personally, but when I was at a conference with SVN Blackstream, they had like a all hands meeting in Greenville, where our headquarters is. One of the people who was talking about like creative financing, they said that they were able to move a client who had like a portfolio of residential properties into a commercial property by porting the mortgage over. And I was like, that's interesting. But
So they went from residential to commercial.
Yeah, but because it was a portfolio, it was a commercial loan. So it was 5 years, or it was a 5-year balloon. I think it was 25-year amortization or something like that.
So that's what I was saying. It sounds almost like, like you can do it under an umbrella or a blanket or like a big credit line.
Yeah.
I would be interested. Do you have their contact information?
I actually do. It's in my car. So
are they from around here?
They're close to South Carolina. I mean, close to Greenville.
Close enough to come over here
I
to
believe
have a
so,
podcast? I would like to get them on the podcast and talk about this port mortgage. I think people need to know about it.
Yeah.
Here's what I know, though, is if Matt keeps up with these questions, dude, we're going to be here all day. I'm going to have to get a babysitter.
That's okay.
They're great questions, dude.
I appreciate you, man. Thank
Ben, you can hop off. We'll phone a friend again next time. Know the answer, buddy.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, J-Man.
All right, sounds good.
Big boss.
So I guess my next question would be, with what I'm trying to do and me being not a U.S. citizen, I'm actually Canadian. How would that work out with me wanting to, apply for loans or,
Great question.
mortgages?
So you're A-okay to do that. So what we're going to ask for is visa status.
Yes.
And depending on visa status, even not depending on visa status, we can do the mortgage. And then it's going to need to be a U.S. bank account.
Yeah.
So make sure the money's in a U.S. bank. Check. Good. You're good. We can even do foreign national, which is people who are from other countries investing here in the United States.
Invest. But is there like, I know in Canada you have to do that. They actually just put in a rule where you have to pay like a certain percentage.
What?
Before, yeah, like you have to pay like a certain percentage now.
To the government?
Yeah, to buy properties.
Elsewhere?
I know a bunch of people were buying properties from out of country, and for a low price, and then now they have to pay a minimum of 20% to do that.
So let me clarify a little bit on this. So
I might be wrong, but that's from
so
what
were
I
you
know.
saying that they were in Canada? They were
No,
buying,
they were in other countries buying in
Canada.
Canada.
So
Yeah.
we don't have that.
Okay.
Now there are certain countries that are on a list of
They can't. Yeah.
they can't
Right.
because they're war-torn countries
Right.
or whatever or
Issues with the United States. Yeah.
yeah. I think that well, and it
To
was
put
all-
it nicely.
well, but the United States is pretty lenient about it because if you think about who's our biggest rival right now, it's probably China,
China.
right? So China's trying to take over the world, and we say we aren't, but we are. So don't shoot me, government. Hey guys, I want to live. I did not kill myself. So, anyways, long story short, there's certain countries where it's gonna raise a red flag and they won't allow it, but surprisingly enough, they are letting China buy up all our farmland here, so they don't care that much.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that you have a nutritionist with the team and you eat pretty healthy. And,
Yeah.
One of the things that's very interesting to look at is what are they actually putting in our foods. So, but yeah, to answer your question as far as what you would need, we would have to get a copy of your visa, and as long as it's American bank account, we shouldn't have any issues.
Right.
And there's also an I-10 program is what it's called for people who it's for people who cross the border or come into the country illegally, technically. But as long as they have an I-10, which is paying taxes, it's almost like a social security number.
I pay taxes.
Right. Well, you're here on a work visa. It's not like
Yeah.
you snuck across.
No,
and
right,
you're
right.
here, right? So like I have a lot of people from Latin American countries who come and they're like, hey, we came in, Dreamer program, whatever it was, and now we're technically not legally here because that was reversed in I think 2016, and there's just a big court battle going on. They're trying to figure it out, and so they have an I-10 number, so they're still paying American taxes.
Right.
If you have that I-10 number, we can get that done. Foreign nationals out of the country investing here, and then if it's a business, right? So if you create a business that's based in America, and you buy it in a business name, then we go commercial, and they aren't even asking for like personal visas and stuff.
Okay.
But they do run background check, credit check, right?
Okay.
So make sure you keep your credit very clean. I tell that to everybody. That's the biggest thing that can screw you up when it comes to doing, commercial residential or even commercial, just plain commercial, just residential and period. So it's pretty straightforward process. It's not much different other than having to get additional documents.
Cool.
Okay. One of the things that kind of really like frustrates me is, have you guys heard the phrase that brokers a lot of the times they'll end up broke because they don't buy any deals, they're always brokering, right?
Realtor brokers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I haven't heard the phrase, but I can see what you're saying.
So one of the things that I'm really passionate about is, real estate agents and real estate brokers, using their own knowledge, because, if you're working in the field, you have pretty much the best data about, what's going on in your market, right? So let's say I want to buy a FHA home, maybe a 4-unit or something like that. Have you seen agents roll their commissions in for the down payment and stuff like that, or?
None of them.
Really?
I've worked with over 100 in the last year, and I was looking at my personal transactions yesterday because I think to be a top producer, whether it's you on your side of the industry or me on this side, you have to know what your stats are. And I was just going through them, and I got mad at myself because the more responsibility I have from a CEO standpoint, the worse my stats are getting.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it'd almost be like a player coach in baseball. There was a lot of player coaches back in the day. It's probably tough to focus on just being a player, and you probably slip a little bit, which we're gonna fix that. But I'm actually surprised at the amount of agents that are giving advice that aren't invested themselves.
Isn't it crazy?
I have not seen it. I know people who've done it, very few that have done it. Probably less than 10% total, less than 5% that I know of personally. Pat, do you know who Patrick Bet-David is?
Yep. Valuetainment.
Valuetainment. Do you know Patrick Bet-David?
No.
So he started PHP Agency, which was a big insurance agency, sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars, and now he has Valuetainment, which is a media website, and he believes, he's more conservative belief based, but has all sides on, talks to him and stuff and like that, and talks about more than politics. He talks about literally everything. But one of the things he was talking about in a book, he wrote a book, and he someone that I admire because you built a $600 million business. That's not easy to do. And one of the things he says is when you're getting an advisor or advice from somebody, there's multiple levels to that as well, right? If you're going into investing and you have an agent who is like I preach, I'm going to use myself as an example. I preach to every one of my clients, to you guys, to the people on the show, is invest in real estate, invest in real estate, invest in real estate, build wealth through real estate. That's what this whole podcast is about. That's why you guys are here. What if you asked me, hey, Nick, how many properties do you have? And I said 0. Well, I mean, seriously, what would your cost be?
I'd be like, why should I listen to this guy?
Correct.
Yeah.
You can read all the books in the world, but until you get your hands dirty, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, yeah. To answer your question, less than 5% that I know of, probably less than 10% total.
So to piggyback off that question, how many of those agents who did do that, how many of them are incredibly wealthy today or like are doing well for themselves as far as like,
Most of them aren't doing deals for other people anymore. Does that make sense?
That's the goal.
So like what you were talking about, when you leave the NFL, you want to work on your own?
Yeah.
Well, the same thing. They still have their license, but they aren't having to go show properties. They aren't having to do that. They've created
The money's
wealth.
making itself.
The money's making itself. And one of the things I would also preach to both of y'all is, and I think Mike had this idea just now, is a great idea. Y'all should start a podcast about your experience.
Yeah.
Get multiple streams of revenue.
Right.
Like I have this. We aren't making any revenue off of it right now.
Not yet.
Soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why soon to be 12 Sacks is on the podcast. That's going to help us, right?
Dude, just name the
that's
podcast
the goal.
12 Sacks. Let's go.
12 Sacks.
Soon to be 12 Sacks.
12 Sacks, 2 houses. But long story short, what I'm getting at is get multiple streams of revenue to go with that as well for both of y'all. You guys are tight, and I love to see it. Like it's me and Ben. Like
Right.
we've known each other since we were 18 years old.
Right.
We started businesses together, and we actually bought our first investment property at 23.
Who says friends can't go into business together?
Hey,
I
man,
think it's bullshit.
I feel like the stepchild of the whole deal.
It's messed up.
third,
You guys are all
the
tight,
third,
though, from
the
what
third
I-
wheel. I'm the third wheel.
In all seriousness,
Our
you
whole
guys-
office is
You guys
tight.
definitely bring that family.
Oh, dude,
feel.
it's awesome.
You know, made us feel comfortable from the moment I met you guys. So
I appreciate
you
it.
guys.
Well, and the thing to us is we want, whether we're meeting a professional athlete, whether we're meeting a realtor, broker, whoever, like we're going to just be ourselves.
Right.
Can I let you guys in on a secret? And you probably already know this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody's perfect. You ask us questions that we don't know, but I bet you Ben's out there like a mad scientist on his little
Learning
computer,
about it.
firing away, trying to figure it out. I asked you, hey, the person you know, can we get in touch with them? Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to know everything.
And to have the humility to admit that is, it's definitely comforting for somebody that's looking to get into this world.
Well,
And
Well, the greatest thing about here, dude, and I'll tell you this, just from me being the outsider, because I am the outsider. It's
not
like,
anymore, but-
well, I'm not anymore, but I was. Is everyone here loves to learn? So he's exactly right about what he's talking about. I promise you, when we go out there, Ben doesn't like to not know everything. You can vouch for that.
Ben wants
He
to
can't
know
stand it.
everything. Oh man, it almost gets annoying at times, right? Like in a good way though, because you want a person like that because he doesn't. So Ben doesn't. He sounds awesome on the phone and he's awesome on the podcast. Ben is not like, I don't know if you guys can tell, I have a pretty big personality.
No.
Ben does not.
Right.
Joe has a pretty big personality too, but I would say my personality is pretty big, like compared to Mike's got a big one too. Like if you go around Charlotte and ask about Mike Allman, people know him.
Yeah.
Damn.
I've heard the legends.
Did you see him? I don't know if you guys saw. Like we were in the dinner meeting when we first met, and some random person, I had no clue who that was, just comes up and gives Mike a hug.
Kiss the ring.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw it, dude." Like everywhere we go, somebody knows Mike Allman. So, but what we're getting at is, and I appreciate the compliment, but you always have to learn. And if you run into anybody who says they acts like they know everything or they can do X, Y, and Z, run.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The person who thinks they are untouchable are the ones who do get their heads knocked off. Like,
Right.
think about it. If your head isn't on a swivel on the football field, hey, you better watch out. I mean, I know you can't do this anymore, but crackbacks.
Yeah.
You remember crackback blocks?
Yeah.
Interception. Oh, shit. Boom.
You have to see the whole picture for sure.
Right. So, see the whole picture, and part of seeing the picture is knowing that you don't know. So, I forgot what the question was. Did I answer it?
Yeah, you had to-
You did.
I
You
guess
did.
I got one more question.
Hit me.
So I know there's first-time home buyers, like incentives and programs. Is there programs like that for first-time investors?
No.
No? Okay.
Not. The reason for it is because right now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Fannie and Freddie, the agencies as we like to call them, they're actually hitting investors. And even if you're buying a second home that's not an investment property but just a second home, they add these things on called loan level pricing adjustments. So it actually costs you more money to do it.
Gotcha.
And the reason they're doing that is they're putting it back into like DPA programs, community programs to incentivize the first time home buyer.
Right.
This is where it gets complicated for me from a regulation standpoint, because I think part of it is good, but part of me hates it. Like I'm torn. I understand why they're doing it. We have a housing crisis in this country. It's housing shortage. What bothers me though is I'm also a capitalist, but I also understand you have to have regulation, or else it's gonna be like back in the day when the Industrial Revolution was happening, and 8-year-olds were losing arms in factories because there was no regulation. So they're trying to de-incentivize investors not to an extent. They still want you to invest, but they put an extra charge on there and that money goes into the agencies, which then the agencies come out with the first-time homebuyer programs.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
Well, I have something for you. So I looked up all the properties that you sent to Joe, and I'm sure you guys
give addresses.
You know what opportunity zone is? Mm-hmm. You do know about the tax credits and stuff like that. So that's good. So everything that you guys have sent over qualifies for that in Fayetteville and in Charlotte, all of it. So
very cool.
That's something that you should look into. And if you want some more information, I'll be glad to share it with you. But
Sure.
that's
Let's pretend I don't know what a qualified opportunity zone is or qualified opportunity fund. Like, can you kind of walk us through
don't.
it?
well.
Yeah.
The whole deal is it's about basically dealing with the city. So it's well, I'll give you the exact definition. But in order to qualify for the program, it's the census tracts must additionally have minimum poverty rate of 20%. So where you guys are focusing your area of focus, if you pull up, they have opportunity zone maps for every single county, every single state. So it's what we look at when we're doing our investment properties, so that we can, at the end of the day, it's make as much money as you can, but also you're trying to give back to the community as well. Mm-hmm. So where those opportunity zones are going to definitely be giving back, because it's in bad areas. Yep. You know what I mean?
Distressed areas.
Distressed, yeah.
Emerging markets.
Right. Emerging markets. People talk about to just dive into the rest of this to kind of make sure we bring that piece home. It's an incentive that is given to potential investors where you do get the tax credit. So to answer your question, I was wrong there. There is a tax credit. I wasn't thinking opportunity zone, but it does that's the incentive for you to go into certain distressed areas and to lift up the area through investment. Right. So there is that.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Right. It's a win-win for everybody. But then you go to the flip side, and then people will be yelling about gentrification. Right. So, but if we're looking at what do we want to do in this country, or what do I want for this country, and I'm sure you guys, and for your hometown, even Canada, right? You don't want people living in bad neighborhoods, right? So it's that old saying, a rising tide lifts all ships. So if you lift up one neighborhood, they're like, oh, well, then it becomes unaffordable for the people who live there. Well, I have the flip argument is like, yes, the pricing might go up there, but it also, businesses see this as a good area with a workforce. They're going to come there, and it's going to be job creation, things of that nature, right? So, but yeah, opportunity zones are specific zones that you can get tax incentives at to fix up properties and that type of thing. It's distressed areas is what they call it. So, good question. Good question, both of y'all. So,
very cool.
See, I knew this would be a great experience.
All right. Let me pull up the Rolodex here. So there's been a lot of talk about, should I pay my mortgage off early? Should I not pay my mortgage off early?
Ooh, love this. This is my favorite question.
So a lot of people are like, inflation's printing hot right now. I think, officially, what do they say? I think like 12% or something
yeah,
like
but they'll
that.
adjust it. They always adjust it now.
The CPI is printing hot too, right? And so people have interest rates with like 3%. I actually had a conversation with my mom about this. She called me. She's like, Maddie, I'm thinking about paying off the mortgage. And I was like, Mom, wait, chill. But now with the official mortgage guys, what do you guys think? Do you think there's a benefit to paying off your mortgage early, or should you let that money develop in the market?
Depends on who you are, right? So another thing I remember about our dinner is that you had asked me, what should I do, commercial versus residential?
Right, yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to give you advice. I'm going to give you the pros and the cons to each. And I'm going to do that with this question as well. So Dave Ramsey, don't yell at me. You all know Dave Ramsey. He believes in paying everything off as quickly as possible. And I do, especially from a consumer debt. Don't get into consumer debt. Credit cards aren't good. Maybe,
Yeah, maybe for credit cards, yeah, I would try to pay it off. No?
Yeah, get rid of credit cards. Don't need, if you can, buy in cash, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to a mortgage, is this a primary residence or is it an investment property?
Let's do, for my mom, it was a primary. So we'll start there, and then we'll move to the investment.
Okay,
scenario.
so primary residence, here's how you look at it. Here's how I would look at it. How is your comfort with risk, right? So I'm sure your parents are doing really well. If they can pay their mortgage off, that's awesome. How much money is coming in? How much money are they making in the markets? And what is their interest rate? Weigh that out, right? And see, does it make sense to put this money and pay this off? But here's the other piece of that. The answer might be no. Maybe they're making 13, 14, 15, 20% in the market, and their interest rate's 3%, so they're only paying 3% on that money. Say they're making 15%. There's a 12% in there that they're gaining if you look at what they, on that. So there's a 12% profit in there,
Yeah.
right? Now, what you have to look at more than profit at times. How old are your parents? Are they retiring soon?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want the peace of mind of, hey, my house is my house as long as I pay the taxes on it moving forward? Right? They might want that peace of mind. Mm-hmm. Everything can go to shit, and I can still live in my house. Mm-hmm. I could lose everything, but as long as I pay my taxes, I still have my house.
Yep.
So that's what you have to weigh. What's your tolerance for risk? Now, the other side of it is, for me, hey, Nick, do you want to pay off your house right now? My answer is going to be no. I would much rather go buy more houses with the money that I could pay those houses off and turn those into income-producing properties. So say my mortgage is $3,000 to $4,000. Let's use $4,000 a month. I've seen a lot of $4,000 a month mortgage payments on the bigger priced houses right now because of where interest rates are. So you have a primary residence you're paying $4,000 a month for. Let's just call it a $500,000 mortgage, $550,000 mortgage. $4,000 a month all in, excluding tax insurance, and so on and so forth. You pay that off, you're still going to have to pay your taxes and insurance. You don't have to have insurance at that point, but I would suggest having it because if your house burns down or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you can take that $500,000 and you could put down payments on 10 properties. And even if those 10 properties are producing $1,000 in monthly cash flow, meaning after all your expenses, you make $1,000. Now you're making $10,000 a month, but you still have this $4,000 a month housing payment for your primary. You take that $10,000, you pay off that $4,000, pay that $4,000, you still have $6,000 a month in extra cash flow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's what I would weigh. Now, there's so many factors. This is why I love this question. There's so many factors that go into it, right? So Mike, myself, Ben, and Russ, we have an investment property company. What's it called?
Big Brothers Property.
No.
Or Big Boys.
Big Boy Properties.
I'd rather
like that.
Yeah, Big Boys. And we're all big except for Ben.
Well, so I actually came up with it. Dallas Cowboy fan here. I admit. I know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But the boys, Russell, Dallas Cowboy fan. He played at Clemson. Huh?
Pull your earphone back.
No, because it's vibrating.
Oh,
This headset is broken, which is why it wasn't in here.
got it.
Russell Cowboys fan. Ben Cowboys fan. Not Mike though, but Russell played at Clemson.
I'm a
Actually.
Panthers fan, man.
My
I'm
God.
a Panthers fan. Let's go.
So
Support the brand, baby.
listen,
go.
I'm rooting for y'all. My wife's a Panthers fan. When the Panthers win, it's a good life for me.
Right.
She's like a big Panthers fan. She was so mad when they traded Christian McCaffrey. And, yeah. But anyways, long story short, Big Boy Properties because Dallas Cowboys. Mike was loving that. But, yeah, so with us, property company, Big Boy Properties, LLC, look out for us. We're growing. We're going to buy dilapidated properties, fix them up. We already have a couple. Mike, who knows about the opportunity zones, probably because you were doing some research on properties and such, dilapidated properties and how to get them and so on and so forth. we are going to try to get to 30 properties as quickly as possible.
Okay.
But we've also talked about at what point do we take it and start paying off those investment properties.
All right.
So when I first started, Ben and I first started MBI Financial Group, it was just the two of us. We came up with the concept of a comprehensive real estate plan. Buy a primary residence. Do not pay that for a first-time home buyer especially. Do not pay that primary residence off. Then buy X number of properties, one per year for X amount of years. And we did 6, one property a year for 6 years. Once you get to that point, so that takes 7 years to get to that point. Year 1, you buy your primary. The next 6 years, you buy investment, just residential investment properties. Once you get to that point where you have those 7 properties, you take all the extra cash flow after, of course, budgets for repairs and so on and so forth, and then you take whatever one has the smallest mortgage, and you snowball effect it. It will take you 14 years to pay those off. So in 21 years, you will have 6 paid in full, and we use single-family resident houses for this example. You'll have 6 paid in full properties that are cash flowing for you, and let's just say you bought the property for $350 here in Charlotte, and there's 6 of them, and they go up at 7% a year over the next 14 or 21 years from the first one. But you're going to have multi-million-dollar portfolio that's paid in full and cash flowing for you. So when you want to go to retirement, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take financial advice. But if you wanted to go to retirement, say you didn't want to go and have to collect and do everything on those properties, you could sell them, take that multi-million dollars that you just sold and put it into a Roth IRA and collect at 8% a year. And now you have and the Roth should stay the same or grow because, and again, not a financial advisor. This is just, we're having a fun conversation.
Yeah.
It should continue to grow, and now you're passing down wealth to future generations.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's my
Well, see, I think
investment versus primary.
I think it's great that you guys are getting in at this age.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it.
We're trying to do like similar to what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Start our own.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
But by the time I get done, though, I'm going to be in the freaking handicap spot. You know what I mean?
No, you won't.
I'll be old.
That's why we had to bring 4 partners in, and we are going to accelerate it because we want you to see the fruits of your labor, and you don't have that much longer left.
I appreciate it. Exactly. I told you.
Man.
I'm just kidding. Mike's young.
To piggyback off that, you could also 1031 that portfolio
Correct.
too, right? So you can go, let's say, hey, I had a great, run with these residentials, but I'm tired of, paying the taxes, the insurance, the repair cost. You just find something that's a triple net leased out, single tenant triple net lease, and, you can just ride that profit
Correct.
perpetually.
Correct.
Right? So
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. And for people, explain triple net lease.
Oh, yeah. So triple net lease is basically when you have fairly no landlord responsibilities. So the tenant's responsible for taxes, insurance, and repairs. And occasionally they'll also wrap it all up with an absolute net lease, and they'll cover roof and structure as well.
Right.
So,
almost like an HOA.
yeah.
How hard is it to find a property like that?
Well, depends on who you know, right? If you, call the good brokers at SVN Blackstream, shameless plug there. I'm sure they can
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to SVN Blackstream. I'm sure they could put you in a property that kind of matches. We're seeing stuff in the triple net space at 7 and 8% cap rates.
Cool.
Right. So
explain what the cap rate is for people who don't know.
So a cap rate is a capitalization rate. It's basically a way for you to measure the type of return you'll get on a property. So for easy math, let's say you have a property that cost you $1 million. It's bringing in $100,000 net operating income. So everything before or everything after your expenses minus debt service coverage, it's a 10% cap rate.
Cool.
Right. So it's also a way for you to measure, how safe an asset is across various asset classes in the same location. So the higher the cap rate, the more risky the property, hence the greater return. The lower the cap rate, safer. So for the portfolio we're talking about, that might be 11 or 12 cap property once it's all fully built out and developed. A safer thing would be like a Starbucks in the heart of Uptown Charlotte. That's probably trading at a 6 cap or a 5 cap right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
From a lender standpoint, we like higher cap rates.
So do we as investors.
But yeah, so they won't take below a certain cap rate, especially private investors don't want to below a certain cap rate. So great questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hit me. It's your
Oh,
turn.
that was That was pretty much all I had. I had a bunch of questions, but
We kind of answered them.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Um,
I know Monty's got something over there.
I told you I came
He
with 50,
definitely
man.
does.
I was
Dude, I can see the wheels turning.
So you guys have been hearing a lot about the Federal Reserve, trying to alter rates and stuff like that. And a lot of people are trying to predict, hey, maybe we're having rate cuts and then, now we're not having rate cuts or we might be having rate cuts or whatever's going on with Jerome Powell's mind at the time. How do you guys kind of approach it, the Federal Reserve meetings and given you're loaning money based off of the rate policies, right? So how are you seeing it? What do you think they're going to do? If you know, how are you guys preparing for in case, we're higher for longer?
So I'm trying to figure out how hard I should punch at the Federal Reserve, right? So they call it quantitative easing is what they call it. And they're trying to ease it so they don't cause a recession. I think we're in a recession.
Me too.
I believe we're in a recession. I think things have gotten hard for the everyday working class American and people around the country because when things get hard here in America, it gets way harder in other countries. If you look at markets in general, so with that being said, I do believe we're in a recession, but they're trying to make it a soft landing to say we didn't land in a recession. I have an argument that how are lawyers running the Federal Reserve? Shouldn't we have business people doing that? Because if you look at who's the head of the Fed, like Fed chairs, and they were all attorneys. Do I think Jerome Powell's smart? Absolutely. Do I think he's 100% right in not lowering the rates? Absolutely. So that's a weird take for somebody who's in the mortgage industry, right? Because lower rates typically mean, hey, more business. But if you look at the big picture in health of the country, the rates were too low for too long, which is part of the reason we got here. And then when COVID hit, they dropped the interest rates so low because they panicked. I think that was a bad move. They panicked and dropped the rates so low that people were basically getting free money, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't costing them anything. They had to pay the money back, obviously, but they weren't having to pay much interest on it. So you can overwhelm the market, which fires inflation up. Then we had forest fires. Then we had random wars overseas. And then we had, shipping lanes being cut off, which is why I'm a big proponent of onshoring stuff back to America because, they look at labor costs and, this is way cheaper in China to get this made because everything's been made in China for, 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. Well, let's onshore it back here because you want to know when it really cost us? When the entire world shut down because of COVID, right? And then it cost us. Then it caused us housing issues. Then we couldn't get windows. Supply chains were disrupted. They're still being disrupted because of the wars that are going on in the Middle East, the Suez Canal, all these different places. That is now affecting America and our continent, even, Mexico, Canada. We're all affected by it because we're on this side of the world. So with that being said, where do I stand when it comes to the Fed not lowering rates and how am I planning for it? Well, I'm planning for everything on a conservative basis. So I'm planning for it if are you asking from an investor or a mortgage standpoint?
Let's do both.
Okay. So from an investor standpoint, I'm planning for it and I'm going to plan for it with, hey, if interest rates go up, how do I still make my investments? That's what I'm going to plan for. If interest rates get higher, how do I make my investments? If I'm an investor and I'm buying a residential property or even commercial, I want to lock into a long term at this higher rate because I know that I don't have a 5-year balloon coming because I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. I think this is a good time for people to step back and understand that we don't know what the future is going to hold because you might remember this. And in the residential world, there was a lot of marry to home, date the rate. I hated it.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know what rates are going to do? Mm-hmm. You're implying that in 12 months rates are going to come down. So my argument would be plan for a higher rate, lock in this current rate. So we're seeing investment properties anywhere from 6.75 to 7.75, just depending on credit score, down payment, things of that nature. And we can get them lower too, but so let's just use those numbers.
Okay.
Lock the 7% interest rate in today, know what your payment is, know that your investment for the next 30 years, that you're going to make X amount of dollars on that investment at a minimum from a conservative standpoint. Take your vacancy rates and take your, expenses as far as repairs and so on and so forth, and go conservative on all those numbers, and you will be okay. Mm-hmm. Don't do a 7-year 7-1 arm, they call them 7-6 now, or a 5-1, which is a 5-6 now. Don't do that, because that means in 5 years you're either going to have a balloon payment that you have to pay off, or your interest rate's going to adjust. And in 5 years, if interest rates are worse, not a good thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that, from an investment standpoint, that's how I would plan. Mm-hmm. Is plan for the worst, plan that they're going to get worse, and how. So if you're trying to scale your investment properties into a business, right, where eventually maybe you have property managers that work for you, which based on what you said, mm-hmm. and when you get out of the NFL, you don't want to have to work for somebody else. Right. Well,
hire property management.
Yeah, well, not actually a property management company. Scale your business to the point where you hire internally.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you're running an actual business that's a property not a property management business, but the properties company.
Right.
Right? And so then you can be on your boat off doing whatever you want to do.
Right.
And you have a stream of income coming in.
Mm-hmm.
My goal for you is 12 sacks this year. You get that $30 million contract, and then you build your businesses and multiple streams of revenue on the side, so that when I'm like, hey, Luigi, come on the podcast, I want people to hear your story. You're like, yeah, Nick, but I'm going to have to phone in because I'm catching swordfish off Cabo.
I'll come in just for you guys.
but my goal for you is to be that. It's like that Goodwill Hunting scene. This is how I am with all my friends. Is one day I want to show up at your house, knock on the door, and you don't answer because you're off doing whatever the hell it is you want to do, great things that you deserve to do.
Dude, we'll just have a hybrid podcast and go to Cabo.
Right. We'll see. I got young kids. We'll see. But long story short is what I'm getting at is plan for the worst. Plan for your business to be functional during the worst. And whether you own one property or 10, plan for the worst. That is a business. How am I preparing for it on the mortgage side? So we're trying to diversify our company. We want multiple streams of revenue. And I told you guys about capital raises and stuff that we're doing. We've gotten calls about, so if you notice, it's not MBI Mortgage, it's MBI Financial Group. We've gotten calls about going into other financial sectors and getting licenses and starting branches and all this other stuff, right? Everything's on hold right now because the number one thing we're going to do is we're going to grow the number of team members we have here. Mm-hmm. So we'll be up to 17 loan officers by the end of July, right?
Very cool.
Nice.
And one of the things that we preach is purchase, 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 purchase. In mortgage, as a mortgage company, the one thing that even during 2008, there was $4.5 billion of homes purchased. Mm-hmm. So we preach purchase and not refinance. We will teach our loan officers to hunt for purchase business, first-time home buyers. People move and buy houses no matter what the interest rates were, because in the 80s, they were like 15%, 20% at times. Right. People bought homes. People want a place to raise their family. They want home ownership. So I will always prepare us to be a purchase company here. When people ask me what interest rates are going to do, I don't know. I just don't. They said that they were going to lower it 6 times. Now they said they're going to lower it 3 times, but now these inflation numbers are printing and they don't look good. Mm. And just full disclosure, war is not good for inflation, right, because more money's spent, right? So I'm a big proponent of I'm just a big proponent of keeping things onshore, minding our own business. Obviously, we don't want genocides and stuff happening overseas. Like let's get involved in that make sure that stops. But like what's happening in the Middle East right now, what's happening with like Israel and on the Gaza Strip, all of that stuff is bad for inflation. So my whole way that I say, if people how am I teaching the team to address this? The way I'm teaching the team is we don't know. This is what the Fed is saying, but they also said this. 2 years ago they said that they're going to get inflation to cool. The other thing I teach them is how do you break apart the CPI numbers to really see, is the inflation as bad as it is? Is job creation really that high? The answer is no, because there's a lot of double postings and things like that. So do you have these big announcements like this week that came out with CPI numbers, inflation, this, that, and the other thing? Well, what they failed to tell you is they never come back and have the same big announcement for the readjustments. So one of the things I'll challenge you on, and you probably already know this because your high level is
I appreciate it.
I would go and Google and just kind of look and see what the adjustments were every single month throughout the, from a jobs report from this. And then also there's a guy by the name of Barry Habib who does a really good job of breaking this stuff down.
Shout out to Barry.
Yeah, he's huge in the industry, dude. Like I'm a nobody compared to him. Like not even close. Like I'm not even a nobody. That's how big this guy is, right? He's been around forever, and he has MBS Highway, and I'm a subscriber there, and I believe in his like what he talks about because he's spot on. Go Google what he's saying about it. Like he's all over the place right now, and honestly, these mainstream networks need to start getting somebody like that on TV more than what they have.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's crazy. Like you talk about like the interest rates getting worse, but if you Google the interest rates back in the 80s, man, they were 18%.
people still bought houses. That's why we're purchase focused.
So is the interest rate really, really that high? I mean, that's
No, it's below the 30-year average. So
Right.
to answer your question too on that is interest rate. We're at like we can probably get 6 to 7% in a primary right now. When I first started in the industry, we were in the sixes. When it dropped to 5.85%, I was at Quicken Loans, which is now Rocket Mortgage, working in their wholesale, which is their broker channel partner and people like myself. And they brought a beer cart around to celebrate because it was 5.85%, right? So they're like, oh, beer, yeah. So to me, it's not crazy high.
Yeah.
And also, like, athlete, you played sports as well. Like, we are taught to just persevere. So figure it the fuck out. is
Yeah,
what I
control
tell
the
people.
controllables,
Figure it
much.
out. How much do you know about the Federal Reserve, Luigi?
Not much.
So when I first started in the industry, I knew nothing about any of this. I didn't even know what the mortgage was. So the Federal Reserve comes out and they give these big speeches, and then they'll print it, right? It'll get printed, the exact speech. And Janet Yellen, who's actually in the Biden administration now, was the Fed chair, which Jerome Powell is now. And this is, I think, Jerome Powell's second go around doing this. But she would, dude, like my head would spin. I'm like, what in the hell is she saying? So it got so bad, and Rocket had and it was quick in that time, but Rocket had just moved their to the Charlotte branch, was their broker division, and so they were hiring people like myself, fresh out of school. Like I had just gotten done playing sports. I had stepped into this role as to do this mortgage thing. And I had no clue. So they literally had to take some of the higher ups, like that were super smart financial wizards. Shout out Dave O'Shan. And they would translate paragraph by paragraph what she was saying so that we understood in plain language. And now, you kind of get used to it's almost like listening to a lawyer talk. You're like, what in the freak are they saying? It was the same thing with Fed Chair. So,
Because they're all lawyers, right?
oh, man. Yeah, and then sometimes these business people, they try to talk in that. Like, I don't talk basis points with people. I never use bips. Oh, yeah, well, it's 25 basis points. I just say it's 0.25%. Right. Like, if I told you 25 bips, would you know how to calculate it?
No.
So one bip is a basis point. They call them bips, is 1% of 1%. Okay. Right? So it's 0.01%. But people don't know that, so why are we talking in basis points, right? So let's talk in percents. Yeah. So good questions, though, man. Keep going. Let's keep going. I got all day.
You got any, Luigi?
I would say, what's the approval time for a mortgage loan? Like
Depends.
For me, like let's say it was for me.
Investment property?
Yeah, investment property. What we're trying to do.
So how many units is it that you guys are trying to do?
It's 2 single-family homes. We're going to try to build 2 duplexes on the vacant lots.
So almost like a fix and flip.
Yeah.
But you're going to fix and hold? Yeah, so it's still called kind of fix and flip, right? So you can either fix and flip and sell or fix and flip into investment property, right? So that's going to be short-term financing. That's going to be considered commercial. I'm guessing you guys are putting in the business name?
Yeah.
And then managing the property yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. First-time investors?
Yeah.
I've done some speculative land stuff in Lumberton, but nothing where it's ground up development or rehab.
Right.
But we do have partners for that, by the way, just in case anyone's like, oh my god,
right.
We have partners.
So
everything is accounted for.
So is it just the two of y'all doing this together that are going to own the properties.
Yeah, as far as like ownership, but our partners, like our contractors, like my uncle I told you about,
Right,
who's
yeah,
a contractor.
absolutely.
So he's done a lot. He owns, I think he's lost count of how many units he owns in Southside Lumberton.
So because it's the first one, there's only a select few lenders who are going to do it because of experience, right? They want to see actual experience.
Right.
So with that being said, I would plan to 45 to 60 days to get funding.
Okay.
Everybody on the podcast was like, oh, you guys close loans in 14 days. We close. Yes, we do. We close loans. We average 14.7 days on residential mortgages. Commercial goes slower. And I think I told you guys that at dinner. Commercial is just so much slower.
Yeah.
It's technology is really what it is. It comes down to, but we'll modernize that. It's slower, and then for first-time investors, they're going to ask more questions. It's going to feel painful. You're going to get frustrated. It's going to feel like they're drawing blood. It gets easier, especially after you get to 3. So you're buying 2, boom, we don't have to go to this lender anymore. Right. We have a little bit more that we can do. And the cost on them are a little bit higher, right? Because you're deemed more risk because you haven't done it before. So just be prepared for that, and I would plan on 45 to 60 days.
So when you say the cost is going to be higher, are you speaking specifically on interest rates? Or are you also talking about down payment as well, or
interest rate, down payment, and
closing costs
and points? Yeah, yep, closing costs.
Yeah.
So it's not like crazy higher, but plan for 65%, so 35% down payment. Plan for that. That's being conservative.
So I have another question.
Hit me.
With was it Big Boy Property?
Yeah.
So what were some of the first challenges you guys faced that we can almost just expect?
Okay, so let's just go in back to Ben and I buying our first investment property. I think I told you this at dinner. It burnt down.
Wow.
Yeah, so we bought a townhome up in Cornelius next to 131 Main, like right across from there. You can almost see the lake from where it was at. And we had just gotten a lease signed. We were 23, 24 years old. We were working at Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage now. And I'm sitting there typing away. I was probably looking at ESPN or something. And there's a TV up in the corner. I looked up and like breaking news, Charlotte, section of townhomes on fire, and there's our home.
Oh, no.
We had so that's pretty challenging. It was insurance fraud committed by one of the neighbors. It was just coming out of 2008. People were still having trouble finding jobs. I had trouble finding a job coming out of college. I was working at Longhorn Steakhouse, right? And I met somebody who got me into mortgage.
So you're counting on that property?
We were, so we weren't necessarily counting on the income of the property, but we were brand new and put a lot into it, right? As far as like, it was
your baby.
It was our baby. And think about this. Like I started out my career making $15 an hour.
Right.
Like that might date me a little bit. Like, but I was making $15 an hour as a temporary worker. So what is that, Mike? What's 15 times 40 times 52? Maybe $40,000, $36,000 a year. And
31,200.
Yeah, so
Rich.
my first salary was $31,200 a year.
Humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings. But dude, I didn't look at it like that back then. I was like, what can I do with this? So I went in and I was like, I'm gonna be the damn best. Money didn't matter to me at that point. Like, first off, I never had money.
I feel like that's a really good thought, though. Like, what can I do with this instead of this isn't enough? You know.
Agreed. Like,
a lot of people don't see it like that.
no, like, well, and you're in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Undrafted free agent.
Undrafted free agent. So.
Right, and you have the if you make 10 sacks this year, what do you think your contract's going to be?
I think it'll be a good one. You know, we'll see.
Millions, right?
The market for a pass rusher is really good. So, definitely,
Especially at the Panthers.
Yeah.
Would you be in the millions, you think?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure in the millions, right? Did you come in and be like, damn, man, I'm only making the league minimum or the rookie minimum?
No, I was happy to be there. You know, like
Happy
a lot of
there.
people would, die to be in my shoes. So, just very grateful.
Dude, and I'm going to take it and equate it to here in America, if you have a job at a company and they're paying you $31,000 a year plus benefits, and this is my mindset.
A lot of benefits.
This is my right.
Benefits.
But like in my experience, you said mindset. Let's speak to the mindset a little bit. So that mindset, if you carry that into the regular world, and you just try to be the best at whatever it is you're doing, there's going to be a lot of opportunities just because people see you work hard.
Yeah, and that's the thing I love about football. Like, a lot of the principles that
It's
you
life.
learn, throughout just my years of playing football, I've learned how to deal with, just life in general. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
And so you take that attitude, and to everybody out there, like, you apply it. So we're getting back to my story when you asked me about what are some pitfalls. Well, we had nothing. I really came from nothing. Like my parents were great. Like we always had good food and all of that.
Yeah.
And like some people don't even have that.
Right.
So if you're grateful for what you have from that standpoint, and you know, so the $31,000 a year, I did my best at that job. I eventually moved into the next role, and I went from working for a temp agency because that's how they would hire us.
Right.
And so this is when we went permanent. Now I started getting bonuses, so that bumped up to like 50, and now I'm rich, dude. So
Rolling in it.
right, so that's when we're like, all right, we're gonna go buy this
Now we
investment
can do
property.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we buy this investment property. It was probably a year after we had both started. And I tell Ben, do you have an agent?
Yeah.
What percent does an agent get?
3%. Well, it depends. Like, first round picks, they usually get like, I want to say like 1%.
Gotcha.
Guy
So-
in my situation, 3%.
Okay, cool. So I'm Ben's agent, and I'm a little bit more expensive because I got the job in the mortgage industry first, and I brought Ben in. So I was at 10% because that was back in the day, right? So
Right.
everything that Ben makes now, he has to pay me 10%.
Right.
That's
Like
a-
marketing agents do.
Well, that's a
it's about
joke, by
10
the
to
way.
15%.
I'm not really making Ben pay me 10%.
No,
but
right.
but so anyways, long story-
Imagine.
Yeah, I should, right? I should. Hey, Ben, whatever this business does, I know you're part owner, but give me 10%.
10%.
Right.
Because I got you in, buddy. But agents do a good job. Just like a real estate agent, like people that say you don't need them, they find us pitfalls, right? Good team. So what I'm getting at, though, is so you said, yeah, that we weren't necessarily relying on that, but it would have been nice.
It would have been nice. Yeah.
Right. So, but what happened was we had a lease signed and we had insurance on the property, and the insurance covered loss of income. So the day before the person signed the lease, the house burns down because the guy next door committed insurance fraud because he started his motorcycle in the garage on fire. And I've told this story on the podcast 100 times because whenever people are talking, there are going to be pitfalls. I don't know exactly what your pitfalls are or are going to be. The first thing I would say to look for, though, is look for that is definitely going to happen. And as much as we try to prevent this, it's hard to because you guys are doing a business purpose loan. It's still a mortgage, but it's commercial residential. They are going to, I'm telling you, they're going to ask for document after document after document. And we don't know all the documents they're going to ask for until it gets to the underwriters. So we pre-underwrite it, and we know what the guidelines say. But on commercial, it's a little bit unregulated, so they might want something else to make them feel better.
Right.
So look for that pitfall and that pain. Look for the pitfall of you don't know they're inside the walls. Like you're going in and turning these into two unit properties. Have you gotten an engineer yet?
No, but we're sourcing one at the moment.
Architect, engineer. Get them there. Find out what it's going to take. Get with your uncle who's done this and make sure that he gives you the cost, right? So if he gives you the cost, you'll be good. But then add 10 to 15% on because there's going to be something that comes up.
Right.
Remember what I told you? I
Yeah.
said with construction, it's like 20% added to the budget and 20% added to the timeline.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
So 20 and 20 is conservative, and I think that's good. So you want to look for that piece. Long-term or short-term rentals?
Long term.
Long term. Yeah.
Okay.
Section 8 HUD.
They're going to destroy the house.
Yeah.
It just happens. Not all of them. You're going to have some really good ones. And to get Section 8, you guys actually can file complaints against to HUD against the renter if they do destroy the house, right? But look out for bad tenants. Now the government it's not, HUD is going to be paying a portion, and then they have to pay a portion. So the other pitfall you need to look for is how are you getting payment from them, right? What I would do is set up Cash App, Zelle, and then and have them pay you that way, right? And I would set up 2 different bank accounts for each house, and separate them out.
Right.
So I would look for that. You're going to look for damages, just wear and tear on the property.
Right.
Look for that pitfall. That's going to happen. That's 100% guaranteed you're going to run into that. Clogged toilets, maintenance issues, bad tenants that are calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning because a light bulb went out.
Still in your mattresses.
Still in the copper.
That just happened to me on my Texas property.
Oh man.
I don't know if it was stolen or not. My business partner down there, who I love him, good buddy of mine, and then my other business partner on that property is Ben. I'm like, dude, it's like an episode of Dumb and Dumber with you two sometimes, like, in the loveliest way possible. It's like, how the hell does a mattress go missing from the house before
Right.
we even have a tenant? like how'd that happen? So what I think happened was the mattress was with all the garbage that was like with the boxes and stuff, and the workers we had, they moved it out to the road, and I think the trash picked up a brand new mattress. That's my theory. Or that is medium term, so month or more rentals, like room rentals is what we do. And so it has to be a month or more, and he's there for 6 weeks. Or
like traveling nurses and stuff, right? I think we
correct.
talked about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So traveling nurses, huge thing. Construction workers, engineers who have to be in different cities and stuff. It's a very good market for that. Right. So with that being said, maybe he took the mattress and wanted a more comfortable mattress and double mattressed it. I have no idea, dude. Like, but we lost a mattress. That's
annoying.
It is. Yeah. So the other thing you want to look for are people who don't pay rent. That will happen. I don't think you'll have as much issue because HUD's going to be paying a big portion of it, and you have to have a certificate to do Section 8, right? So there's a 20,000 person waiting list last I looked in North Carolina. So you should have a little bit of control over them paying you, and because if they don't, and be like, hey, I'm going to file a complaint to HUD and you'll lose this.
And it's a 10-year wait list to get back on, right?
It's so long, dude. Yeah. So that is, those are just some pitfalls off the top of my head. I don't expect your house to burn down. I don't expect you to have.
Yeah, we pray, right?
I mean, make sure you have the insurance, though, and then hope so.
Yeah.
So, because now the insurance is rebuilding the house brand new for you. So, that's kind of what happened with the townhome. It was beautiful when it was done. And we had a tenant that came in. That tenant who had originally signed didn't come in. The tenant that came in, Kim, she was great. She took better care of it, stayed there for 2 years. It was awesome. We ended up selling it because we had boomed a little bit, made some money, started another business, sold that business to Charlotte Nightlife, and that's kind of what got us here.
Right.
Wait a minute. You sold a business to Charlotte Nightlife?
Yeah. Charlotte Brewery Tours.
Can we talk about that a little bit? I'd like to hear that story.
God.
So my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and my best friend, who's been ex-best friend. I'm just kidding. I forget how old I was turning. I was in my 20s. And we had this investment property, and I worked at Rocket Mortgage, which I was an underwriter there and making 6 figures at the time. And my wife's like, take Friday off. And I'm not a day off guy. Mike will tell you, like, he's getting calls on Saturdays and Sundays and like, hey, what about this? What about this? It's just not, I'm not built that way.
Right.
So I took the day off, and I had a Jeep Wrangler top down for my birthday. No responsibility, just like, let's go. So we went to Asheville, and I liked craft beer at the time.
Yeah.
Which I still like beer. I just can't drink beer that much at all, really, because it bloats you.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
So body's a temple, man.
Well, dude, listen, I just got a Rogue weight set for my house. So, like, if you and the guys ever want to come over, play some golf, and see, how much we can squat.
Throw up some crazy numbers. Let's do it, man.
What's your deadlift?
I haven't deadlifted since college, to be honest.
What was it in college?
It was like about 5 plates, I want to say.
Yeah, you beat me.
Yeah.
For sure.
You think?
Well, I was a quarterback, dude. Like, I wasn't meant to be strong.
I'm sure it's more now, but, I probably hurt myself in the process.
So they don't have you deadlift at all.
Well, usually you can, but you will never do that much weight. Like, especially at this level.
It's more reps.
It's more about, taking care of your body and, choosing the right lift. So, like, there might be a guy that deadlifts, might be a guy that squats, might be a guy that, does the Kaiser machine. Like, it's so all about
way more individualized.
Yeah, it's a lot more individualized because certain guys have certain injuries where they can't perform.
That's so much different than when I was in college too.
Yeah,
like
and some guys prefer not to. Well, college is different. Like, I feel like
everyone's on the same
That's
program.
a different story. Everybody's on the same program.
When you were in college,
you down.
Right. So you were in college.
Yeah.
You played at Michigan and Wake Forest.
Yeah.
So when you were there, did they have you guys on the same program?
Yeah, for the most part, they did. I feel like in college too, you're still growing, and you still have to follow that structure and all that. But once you get to the NFL, it's more about longevity and taking care of the body because it's 18 game season. You know what I mean? Or 17 game, whatever it is. It's a lot. It's a long season. So the more you can take care of your body and go like this in an upward trend.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just so used to like get in the weight room. This is what we're doing today.
Right.
Oh yeah,
it's like that in college for sure.
Yeah, but NFL is that's awesome. Yeah, individualized. So, So anyways, the back to the Charlotte Brewery Tour story. The question that you guys asked. So Liz, my wife, takes me up to, and girlfriend at the time, to Asheville. We celebrate my birthday. We went brewery hopping in Asheville, which is cool because the downtown's pretty neat. And I had this idea. I was like, man, they got these breweries that are out in the mountains that have good beer. Like, but you aren't supposed to drink and drive. So there is a deficiency in the market there. Let's create a tour company. So we came back to Charlotte, which had 50 breweries at the time in a 25-mile radius, which this was years ago. I don't know how many. There's even more now, right? And so we created Charlotte Brewery Tours. I bought a school bus, an old school bus for $1,000, remodeled the whole thing. I can actually show you guys. Remodeled the whole thing, redid the inside, ran that for years. I actually quit in the mortgage industry. I actually just flat out quit mortgage for a little while and did that. And then because of that, I met a diesel mechanic, and the diesel mechanic convinced me to start a trucking company. So yeah, it was absolutely wild. Our Instagram, it's all our Instagram still. We sold all of it.
You still have you don't have the trucking company anymore?
Well, I have one truck still.
Okay.
But I don't run it. It's just
Dude,
kinda,
that's so cool. You guys have been like
you guys did a
entrepreneurs
lot.
for your for a while now, right?
yeah, dude. And one of the things is you always fail in the beginning, but you can't look at it as failing. Like you have to look at
lessons.
It's lessons, and it's like when you go to college to get a degree, like it's lessons learned, right?
Yeah.
Well, it transpires back to football, dude. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get blindsided. You got to get up.
All right, you have 60 other plays that you need to,
Dude,
do well in.
we even started. So when I first really got into like YouTube and making podcasts and videos and content, was during this, and we started. Like how Dave Portnoy does the pizza one bite reviews?
Yeah.
Well, we actually had started a beer review around the same time that he started One Bite.
One sip.
Oh yeah, and I had my friend David Dewberry, who's just one of the coolest dudes. He would do the one sip, and there's a whole YouTube channel out there. But we sold all the content and everything to them in 2019, and then COVID hit. But yeah, so we would bring people to the breweries. We set up. We
Talk about timing the market, right?
Well, that was called. We had a kid on the way, and I was working like 4 jobs. I was working in the trucking. I was working on that, and I was working on getting into the sales side of mortgage. And dude, like, nobody wants to just work forever, right? So that's when I was in, and I'm pulling up the very first pictures on the Instagram. It's taking a second to load, but that was when I was I was like, okay, like, you talked about grit. Well, I watched my dad work 2 jobs for a long time. To support our family, so like this just kind of
It's instilled.
yeah, dude, you just start doing it, and it's so funny because I have a 4-year-old son, and he was like, I want to come to work with you on Friday. But yeah, so anyways, we still, and I'm going to pull these pictures up as we're going, but we sold it to Charlotte Nightlife. I had the trucking company still. 3 of the engines went out, and that was a $30,000 or $40,000 repair for 3 of the 4 trucks' engines to be repaired.
Per truck or total?
Per total. And dude, I was in my 20s still. That's the interior.
Well, that's sick.
Oh, that's nice.
And then let's see, and that was the exterior.
How long did
very
that
cool.
take to do?
Well, I quit my job at Rocket Mortgage and said I'm going out on my own. So I cleared the inside. I have a buddy, Kevin Thanem. Shout out to him. He's a contractor. He lives in Florida now. But I said, I need your help with this bus. How much is it going to cost me? We sold our investment property at the time, so we had like close to $50,000 just kind of sitting around. Bought a bus for $1,000, drove it to the driveway of the house first house I bought as a primary residence. Second house I bought an investment property first, which I would not advise people to do. But I wasn't paying rent at the time, so I was like, I'm going to do this. So bought that house, parked it in the driveway, got a ton of fines. The city of Charlotte is still chasing me for because it wasn't zoned to have a school bus in there. Ripped all the seats out and all that. Probably took like a month or so. The hardest part was DOT. When we didn't even know what DOT was, so they just they saw us parked at a brewery one day and like pulled the bus over with a group of people on it. So live and learn. But yeah, and then it took a few months. We ran it for a few years. It did really well. I still get phone calls because they haven't changed the number on the website because COVID hit as they were trying to get going, and then it just went out.
Wow.
So if you're listening, Charlotte Nightlife, I will buy the company back from you for $10,000.
Ooh.
So
You heard him.
You heard him.
heard it here first.
Heard it here, right here.
So yeah, so then we did that and went into trucking. I sold my trucks and my trailers. I have 1 truck left. I just haven't had time to sell it, but I'm going to. I would not suggest trucking or transportation. There's a lot of liability.
Yeah.
It's expensive. The insurance is like $1,400 a month just for a single truck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But I was a kid, man. I was
Learn.
learning. And so now I'm in housing, and we're doing housing. I'm in mortgage. I own a mortgage company, and we live and we learn.
So to take it, like, we're trying to scale, obviously. What were some things that you did early on when you were first trying to scale that kind of separated you and differentiated you from your competitors?
For mortgage,
Or any business, like, just
so I did not do this well enough. I did not learn to delegate until I was older. My kids forced me to delegate because I want to see them, right? No one wants to miss their children grow up.
Right.
So I learned to delegate. And when you start delegating, then you have to learn to train. And then you have to learn to communicate. One of the books I would from a leadership standpoint is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willenick.
shout out to Jocko.
It's shout out Jocko, man. It's one of those books where I read it, and it's actually not an easy read. It wasn't an easy read for me. It took me a while to get through it, and I read like a book a month. It took me a little while to get through it, but because I was truly trying to understand it. So the book, it's all about being able to explain things to your team so they have an understanding of the why behind it. If they have an understanding of the why behind it, which I always try to explain to them, then instill the training in them, and then you can get the team all flowing in the same direction. It's almost like a football team, right?
Yeah.
Like if you understand why you're running a play in a certain
with anything.
situation, right?
Yeah.
So Jocko does a really good job of breaking that down from a business perspective. Understand that when you're hiring people, not everybody's a fit for your company, your culture, and what you're doing. Just like not everyone's a fit in the locker room, right? Don't be afraid to fail quickly. So move on quickly,
Yeah.
right? So even in a house, right? Don't get attached to them.
No.
It's gonna feel near and dear to your heart because it's your first one. Don't let that happen. Pretend that house cheated on you, right?
Already think about the next one.
Right. Or think about the next one. Look at it as a transactional thing. The people who are living in the houses, they're going to be good people. Maybe, I don't know.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would say 90% to 95% of all people in the world are good people. It's the 5 to 10% that are bad people.
Yeah.
Vocal minority.
Right. Well, and they kind of make you get a bad taste in your mouth for everybody else. So just assume the people there are good, but also understand that you're running a business and your capital has to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Because you're providing a very good service, especially if you're doing Section 8. Like those are people who need a place to live at a cheaper
Affordable
price,
house.
affordable house, right? So if you're doing that, understand though that you still have to be tough on each individual because you don't get anywhere in life people not being tough on you and giving you feedback and vice versa, right? So if they cause you to go out of business because they're not paying you rent, then you can't help anybody else.
Right.
So that one person could ruin it for everybody. Don't let that one person do that. And it will be one person, maybe two, whatever, right? So, but as far as scaling, find good people and don't be afraid to move on quickly. As far as scaling from a house standpoint, figure out how to gain the most value. Make your money on the buy, right? So that's why I like dilapidated properties. They're gain way more value. We bought a property for $40,000 and assumed a $50,000 mortgage. When it's done, it's already been appraised after repair values and be over $300,000.
Nice.
Dude, like that's home run. Like my first property where I parked the bus, I bought using it was a HUD home. I bought it. It was going in pre-foreclosure. It was $100 down payment. I told you guys this at dinner. I made $175,000 off of it.
Wow.
So
That's a hell of a return, right?
oh, dude, it was great. If I held on to it until now, because I sold that in August of 2019, me and my wife had just gotten married. We were about to have a child. And, we moved to Rock Hill. Well, if I had held on to that property, which is in Madison Park, like right on the corner of South Boulevard and East.
Great area.
Yeah, dude. Like, it was not when I moved in. There was no doors on the house. I slept in the house with no doors.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, it was the hood too. But it got gentrified.
It emerged as a market.
People came in. They knocked the homes down. They rebuilt homes. That one's still standing as it was. I did a lot of repairs to it. Like, it was a complete flip. It stunk. There was dog piss all over the house. It was bad.
Yeah.
But I was just so damn excited to have my own house that I was like, fuck it.
$100
Mattress on
down?
the floor.
Right.
Yeah, $100 down, dude. I actually
beat
walked
that.
away with a check because what I did was to cover the closing cost, I upped the interest rate. So people, like, as you up interest rate, you get more of a credit. So there's a cost for each rate. So the higher the rate, the more the credit, right? Cool. So I upped the interest rate, moved 2 roommates in, and I was like 25, maybe 26. And I'm just like you. I saw those shows about flips and so on and so forth. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Like I just fell in love with it. So yeah, you buy your profit. Like when you buy, that's when you get the profit. It sounds like you have a pretty good idea in Fayetteville, because you're buying something and turning it into a 2-unit. There's your value.
Yeah.
Right. There's your value. So, yeah. Hopefully that answers the question.
No, yeah, that was great.
What else?
Yeah.
I can talk housing all day.
I that was everything for me.
Yeah. So like, all of my stuff, it's not really like real estate now. I think it's more just like business development, stuff like that. I noticed that like, one of the things that I love about you guys and like, what you've built here at NBI Financial is the culture, right? Your company culture is, in my opinion, and, I don't want to be biased, but in my opinion, I think you guys are the best in the industry, especially in the Carolinas.
Thank
right?
you.
So that's why all of my business I refer to you guys. So what was some of the things that you guys intentionally did in order to build that culture?
High character individuals. High character individuals.
It's like you said, like not everybody's a great fit for.
No. I had a dude, he actually played football at Syracuse. He was a corner. We hired him, and I like this guy. He one time showed up to our old office, took a picture sitting next to the front door, but never came in to say hello. So I fired him that day. That's bad fucking culture, right? I have a standard that's very high, and I don't. My temperament is I have a hard time putting up with people who are taking advantage or people who aren't doing things to the best of their ability purposely.
Right.
He has a hard time with bullshit. Let's call it like it is.
Hell yeah, Mike.
So my whole thing is in every aspect of life, I expect to perform. Like I told you, I was making $31,000 a year, and I was like, I'm going to do the best I possibly can. I don't care if you're shoveling shit. Do the best. Be the best shit shoveler ever.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's going to create more opportunity. I expect every person in this business to act like that. Now, do I expect everybody to be on all the time? No, dude. Like, I think that my personality is just a little bit different than others where I don't feel I get burnt out. Now, there's times I need an hour or two away, but that's it. And then I'm reset, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
I think you have to have high character individuals, set a high expectation, communicate those expectations, and don't be afraid to be yourself. There's times I'll chew somebody out like a football coach will chew you out if you miss a block, right? Yeah. Or, you cover wrong lane and 60-yard touchdown because we didn't run gap wasn't fit.
Yeah.
And that happens here.
Yeah.
Not as much with the people on the floor as the executive team because I put the people in the leadership, including my brother, Joe, who's chief sales officer, Ben, Mike, who's chief revenue officer, Eric, who's chief growth officer. It starts at the top, right? So, and then when we establish the high character, the high expectations, and I know that, and the standard, then it allows that closeness to happen. Because, and the other thing I do is I create chaos. I actually heard this from one of my football coaches growing up. Be able to operate in controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Because a football game at times can be controlled chaos.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you can operate in controlled chaos, you have an advantage on everybody. So when I feel something, and you can talk to anybody in the company and ask about a time that I created controlled chaos. Mike, can I tell the story about you?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Awesome.
The go home story?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's stupid anyways.
Bill Belichick, he once sent one of his starting linebackers home for being 3 minutes late to a meeting when there was 10 feet of snow in Northeast.
Yeah.
So look up that story. I'm probably not getting it exactly correct. Well, Mike was 5 minutes late, and I sent him home. Ben was 3 minutes late one day. So he had a great day one day, right? 3 minutes late, and I sent him home. Now, on the flip side of that, if you let me know ahead of time, if you have a doctor's appointment, if anything's going on with your family, I'm there for you.
Yeah.
Anything you need. But every single day, or car accident, stops the road. If there's some type of notification, heads up, there's a proper way to do things. Give us a heads up, communicate it to us. Cool. But what I was doing is I was creating controlled chaos. A couple of things. Mike, very talented individual, very hardworking individual. I have zero complaints about them. This isn't an attack on his character at all. I also had to create some chaos because Mike was coming into the business after we had been established for 2 years, and I gave him he does not get a salary that he needs. He has it, but not that he needs, that he deserves, but he has an equity stake in the business to replace that. Well, when you give somebody an equity stake to come in, and he came in as business development, and now he's chief revenue officer, and he's going to be probably the COO at some point. Right. When you come in with that expectation, you need to figure out if people are bought in. On the football field, they figure out if you're bought in by, dude, I remember 4 a.m. workouts, and we were having to play tug of war against each other. Dude, it was freezing cold, man. It was January, and Bobby Bentley, shout out to Coach Bentley. He actually went on to coach at South Carolina. His son Jake Bentley started there. He's still in the coaching circles. He went down to South Florida. He's coached at Auburn, big time football coach. He actually he coached Burns High School in South Carolina and turned them into a powerhouse that won state championship after state championship before getting the job at Presbyterian College where I played. He's one of the guys who's created the spread. One of the only coaches I ever seen. He never had a script. All from here. Dude, it was insane. Wow. Yeah, dude never had a script. Just called what the defense was given, and boom, 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 boom. But he would bring us out there. And I was a quarterback. And I was pretty strong. Hang clean was my thing. Power clean, hang clean was my thing. And so I was pretty strong. But he would match me up against the center. And what would happen is you'd go out and you'd do it was just chaos. There would be a tire here, and he'd line us up equal places apart, and then we'd have to see who could get the tire and pull the other guy across the line. And I beat the lineman, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And then he tried to put me on kickoff, and I wasn't about that life. But it was just but you get what I'm saying. We create control chaos. So what I was doing is Mike bought in. Where's the chaos, right? Yeah. I did it to my chief growth officer, and I'm not going to tell the story here because I don't have his permission. But created chaos. Yeah. They came back, dude.
Yeah.
They came back. You know how many people that quit by getting sent home?
Yeah.
A lot.
Bitches.
But so you create controlled chaos to see if they're brought in because, I'm still a producing loan officer, but I'm building a business. I'm going to build something that's 50 states. And if you have X% of equity in this business, that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Right? So you create controlled chaos. But you have to also, when it's done, it's like the coach that ripped your head off.
You got to love them up. Yeah.
Love them up. Put your arm around them. Let them know, I'm doing this because we're in this together. I needed to make sure.
Yeah.
Now that I know, there's going to be mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, has there been mistakes since?
Sure.
Have you gotten sent home?
No. But at the end of the day, guys, I mean, here's the deal. You got to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. I wanted to know. When we hire newer guys that are on the senior team or directors or sales managers, I want to know. Are you really here or are you not?
Because it's a small business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
With a small business, it's like being a rookie in the NFL probably. There's a lot of learning. It's water out of a fire hose. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And so what I would do is I would put people in a position that was going to test their character. It was going to test their mental. And then they came back. Yeah. And the ones that didn't don't deserve to be here. Yeah. And period. So that's kind of what I did. But some people
learn that from football, right?
You do, man.
That's the thing.
How far are you willing to go?
Yeah.
How far are you willing to go? It's a game of inches.
Exactly.
Well, in the NFL, it's a game of millimeters, really. I mean, but college is a game of inches, right? So if your pad level is 1 inch too high as you're going to rush the passer, you're probably getting knocked on your ass. Yeah. If it's 1 millimeter too high, that's how good, and that's the margins. Well, the margins.
Everybody's good.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
gotta get that edge.
Right. So here. How about this? In business, everybody's good. The good ones are good, and the ones that aren't good, those are your competition to start. And sometimes the ones who aren't good are willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that they, they'll grab your legs and pull themselves up, right? So you have to make sure that your team is tight, has your back, and is in it with you. And if they are, the sky's the limit.
Right.
So look for high character individuals as you scale. Look for people who are willing to go through pain, right? Do you work out in the mornings or at night?
Morning.
Do you feel like you've accomplished a lot after you worked out?
Absolutely.
Because you've done something harder than anybody else has done to start your day, so everything else should be easy.
Right.
Find the people with that mindset because they exist in the world outside of sports. Some of them are former athletes. Some of them were, they've been through hard things in life. Find the people who are high character individuals who are willing to go above and beyond to work their butts off, and then also find the people who have that mentality of I like to do hard things. And you don't even have to like to do hard things. You just have to know you have to do the hard thing, right? And you find those people and they attack that hard thing first, keep them. Whatever it takes, keep them. Anything it takes, and be truthful with them. Don't ever lie to them. Be truthful, be honest, do the right things by them. They'll do the right things by you, and create that team culture.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we got here. People, if you asked around about Nick Campo and how he was at growing MBI Financial Group, I don't know if anyone would necessarily say something bad. Maybe they would. Maybe if you've got a couple cocktails in them, they would be like, man, he was an asshole. He was hard to work for. He was this, he was that. But then I would challenge you to call the people who are still here, who really got to know it and who really bought in, how many things I've done for them outside of work or would do for them, and be that leader. Yeah. Don't ask them to do anything you wouldn't do. Just don't ask them.
Right.
Work harder. Work longer. Make sure make sure they see your dedication and your commitment. And if they see that, they will go to war for you. Period. So that's my advice on it. And I appreciate that question because a lot of people don't ask me.
Right.
Really?
I don't. You'd be surprised at how many people don't. I mean, for us to be at this point in year 3, like the team works from home on Fridays, but like we have essentially a full floor. We're going to have 17 loan officers, probably July or August. We did that in 2.5 years.
Right.
That's growth. That's growth. That's sacrifice. And people don't ask about it. They don't ask, like, how'd you do it? Where'd the money come from? Did you take a paycheck? Did you give up 14 months? Did your business partner take a HELOC on his house to make sure you could expand this thing? That's sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Did he give up a $400,000 a year job to be here for not even for fractions of that? Twice, right? Like, is that who you got? Do you have those people? Because if you do, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out. We could lose everything, burn this to the ground, and we'll start over because we have the right people. Mm-hmm. Period.
And that's skin in the game, right?
Correct. And if you guys come and golf like we want you all to.
We will. Yeah. Absolutely.
So if you come and do that, you'll see we live in a nice neighborhood. Me, him, and Ben, we live in a gated neighborhood, right? That stuff wasn't first, though.
It's work. Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
Like, I've told you about 2 of 4 businesses I've started and sold. Yeah. This is legacy now, right? But like that wasn't 3 years. You want to know how we got to this point? The 12 years prior to that, the 20 years of experience he has. Leaning on others. That's how we got here, and then not being afraid to take a risk.
Yeah,
just weigh those risks out. It's so funny. Everyone's like, "Hey, man, like." Make sure you and I told you guys, take the conservative approach, so on and so forth. But one of the things I always talk about is risk. What is your risk tolerance?
Right.
I risked everything on each one of my businesses that I had at that point, knowing that I'm 35 years old and I might have to start over. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to. We're going to be fine, and we're in a great position now. But like, dude, like when we moved into this office, it was me, Ben, and Joe. This office is huge, 4,000 square feet. We moved from an 800 square foot office that was $1,200 or $1,800 a month to this place, and this place is not that.
Not cheap.
No, and it was just the 3 of us. Why are you doing this? Well, we're going to expand. Can't expand in a small office.
That's true.
Can't expand in small. So it's been, you'd be surprised at how many people don't ask, but it's been 10 years of experience of running businesses. The trucking company taught me the most about how to run a business because it was the hardest. And it's probably the hardest because I knew the least about day-to-day operations. And it was expensive, and truck drivers are hard to handle. So there was a lot and there's a lot of great truck drivers, salt of the earth guys. But one of the things about working class Americans that I know is, and that's what truck drivers are, like hard workers, they got a little bit of an edge to them, and they're going to do what they want to do, especially when you're a 29-year-old kid who's never been in trucking before and you're asking them to run X, Y, or Z lane, right? So that was fun. But yeah, man, just have your standards and keep your standards. Yeah. Keep your standards. Don't bend. Don't split the difference for anybody because you know what you want and how you're going to get there. And at some point, you will find individuals who will be bought in with you. But you're going to go through a lot of them to find them.
One more thing. Know your worth.
Absolutely.
Right. 100%. 100%. So that'd be my advice.
Very cool. I know you were talking about like, you know, that risk on like type of mindset. Do you think that's something that you've always had, or was it something that you had to develop via like, you know, taking those knocks in life? Yeah.
So I come from Amsterdam, New York. We got voted worst place to live in America this year. So, you know, now again, you know, probably lower middle class family to middle class, right? My parents were great. We had everything we ever needed: shoes, bats, balls, whatever we needed, right? Football equipment. My dad coached us. Like, we had a great life. But when you come from humble beginnings, what is risk?
Yeah.
You mentioned where you come from. What was your neighborhood like growing up?
It was tough. Yeah.
So what I would tell you is, well, when you come from a tougher walk of life, the risk doesn't seem as risky.
No, right.
It's more risky for you now, especially if you get a multi-million-dollar contract, right? Are you going to want to put 5 of those millions up to do something big, knowing that you could possibly lose it all? And the mindset I speak of is whatever you put up, know you could possibly lose it.
Right.
Whether that's in real estate, and that's what this podcast is about, is you know, building wealth through real estate. Whether that's in, say, somebody comes to you with a great tech idea, because they're going to approach you, dude. Like, you get 10 sacks, they're coming. And listen, not everybody's a good person.
Right.
And that's what I've learned in this business. Mike, we've worked with some people in this business since you've been here, which is about 6-7 months. Has every person we've worked with had our best interest in mind?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Not even close. There's going to be – he said something to somebody the other day. There's a pack of dogs. You know, it's a capital raise. I'm leading point on, but it was brought to me by another group. And there's a little bit of infighting. I'm like, I ain't moving unless I got X, Y, and Z. Because I know, one, my worth, and number two, I know that my personality is going to be able to dictate terms that we need dictated to us, to dictate. And Mike said to the guy, hey, sir, and this is a person that, you know, we got rid of, like we had to fire. Nick's leading point, and I know you don't like it, but the people he's negotiating with, because they're our contacts, it's a pack of dogs. And you need Nick's personality. So you have to take the idea of what I fight for is never for me to win. It's for both sides to get a good deal, because that's how business is done. But not everybody else is going to fight like that. I keep going back to you, and you as well. But you're an NFL player who's, you know, you get that contract, you're a public figure, right? And you're already technically a public figure because you're in the limelight. My biggest thing is risk versus reward is like what I hope for you is that you are able to recognize the angles that people are coming to you at, and the angles are different, right? And that's why I say get a good team around you now. Make sure they're a good team and test them. Test them. What I do is I give somebody the opportunity to make the good choice or bad choice, right? Character is what you do when nobody else is looking. I give people the opportunity to make the good choice or bad choice, and then see where they go with it. So, yeah, from a risk tolerance standpoint, like I just feel like humble beginnings, man. Like I can go back to that. I was happy. I'm still happy. I'm still happy. I think there's more pressure now, but I'm still happy.
Pressure is a privilege, though.
It is a privilege, 100%. And so, but I'm not afraid. You can't be afraid to lose, right? Because and I don't look at losses as a loss. So, but I don't be afraid to take a risk. Just know whatever you put up, you can lose. So.
That's cool though, because like, you know, now I'm thinking about like the worst thing that happens is if it all goes to hell, right? I just go back to Lumberton, and it's not bad. Like, you know, I had a good life in Lumberton, you know, so.
I don't think you could go back though. I think what would happen is you'd be like, "Damn, I lost it all. Like, where do I start
What's
now?
next?
Yeah, what's next? How to get back?
What's next? How do I get back?" And then that's when you do some soul searching. That's when you do some self reflection. And that's when you watch the mental film, is what I call it, and you figure out, okay, well, how did I handle that here? What should I have done here? Should I have done this? I should have done this. Mike watched me go through a loss like that the other day. It was a big loss, and did I call you this morning with a new strategy?
Yeah.
That's probably a good way to segue to my next question. Like in this game, especially, you know, in the mortgage world and the brokerage world, there's a lot of losses. A lot of deals that you're about to close, you don't close. It dies in the 11th hour.
And it's your fault all the time, no matter what, to the client anyways, right?
Yeah. So what's something that you do to like keep yourself? It's like, okay, like at least when you were first starting out, I'm sure now it's a bit easier, but when you first started out, it was like, damn, I lost my first big deal. Like, what was that like? How did you pull yourself out from that dark place?
It's not any easier. If you like to win, you like to win.
Yeah.
Right? Like competitive. You guys both were athletes. Competitive. I'm ultra competitive. Like you said, you gave me a dollar amount that your contract could be if you get 10 sacks. Mm-hmm. Do you remember me saying I'll race you to that number?
Yeah.
Competitive, right? I think we'll get there about the same time. I've thought about this multiple times since the challenge too. Over the next 3 years, I think we'll be about on the same pace. I do too, man. And we're going to celebrate. Yeah. With a steak at that same restaurant and talk about it. So,
well, one other thing to that too, though, man, is surrounding yourself with a great team.
Agreed.
Because your team's going to pick you up.
Yep, I keep preaching that. Your team. But then there's that lonely place that we all go to. Like Mike goes there, you go there. People like ourselves, we go there. So I was on the phone with him, what was it, 9 o'clock last night? I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. I got off the phone. I didn't go to bed.
I knew he wasn't going to bed.
I sat disconnected for everything, and I thought, what happened here? How can I make sure this never happens again? How can I strategize this? And I just started thinking, what could I have done differently? It's like after a big game and you don't win the big game, you don't sit there and say, oh, man, we gave it a good shot. Everybody kept telling me after this deal blew up, and it literally blew up yesterday. Dude, I got a text. I left the office to take my son to get a haircut, and I got a text from somebody that said, hey, man, is the podcast still good for tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I'm getting a haircut, so I look good for it. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing was, mama didn't raise no bitch.
Oh, yeah.
So get back in there, man.
Yeah.
Like, get back in there, keep going after it, because the only way you win at life is if you keep going. It's that, you know, Rocky's an Italian hero. Oh, dude, like the new one where he said it's not about how hard you get hit; it's how hard you get hit, or
it's how you get up
and get back up.
Yeah, and keep going, because this world is not an easy place to navigate, man. Yeah. And not everybody has your best interest in mind, and as they shouldn't. They should have their best interest in mind, and you have to understand they have families and things they have to take care of. Mm-hmm. And that deal that you might lose, there's, you know, whether it's something pops up in underwriting for us, or whether it's somebody backs out of the deal because it wasn't the best thing for them, that's a loss for you. Mm. That's commission check not received. That's rents not received. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like
many hours of, you know, mental bandwidth that you'll never get back.
Yeah.
Right. So the way I got through it is when I prayed, because I wanted to do some bad things, and you can't do that. You can't. Like, you can't let yourself get there. You have to be a high character individual. You win being a high character individual, and you know, that's how you win. I was frustrated. I had a conversation, called my dad, had a conversation with him. This is all last night. I prayed. I literally said, what would Jesus do in this situation? And what came over me at that point, it reverses the mindset, and you stop thinking about all the negative, and this person did this and this person did that, and because this was a private, like, it was a capital raise. That game is even different than real estate, man. It's like they're coming for you. Like, everybody wants the best deal. There is no equal deals.
It's like herding cats.
Oh, dude, it's like, no, it's herding wolves that have rabies. No, for real. Like, how many times did somebody say "fuck you" and hang up on me?
Bunch.
I'm going to blow this deal up. I'm going to do this, and all I was doing was fighting for the best deal for both sides. And the deal is still available, for the person who backed out if they want it. But just kind of going through the whole thing from start to finish, I just changed my mindset. And instead of looking at how bad it was I lost the deal, I looked at what are the positives. There's 2 to 3 relationships I gained in that are relationships that I'll have probably for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. Lessons learned, man. Like, I understand, like, what a contract means now. Like, hey, you got to do things this way, and this is why they're done this way, because if not, then this happens, right? So, you know, and no one got hurt by it because it was just a deal nobody had, but you want to know who did get hurt by it? Our team put in 1,000 hours to that. We don't get paid, right? So that's why I was upset mostly, is because they put in a bunch of work, and there's nothing I can do for them at this point,
right?
Which sucks. Now, It's not over yet.
What's next?
Right.
All
It's
right.
not over yet. The other piece, too, I always think about, too, when something bad happens, like, nobody ever laid on their deathbed and was able to, say, write a memoir or tell a great story or go through all the memories of their life and think about how great and how exciting it was
Without challenges.
without challenges and without risk, man. Like, so, you know, when you look back at it, it comes to the point of, do you want to live just a normal life where you went into a 9 to 5 in a cubicle, or do you want to take a chance, take a risk, and hey, I might end up on my face, but at least I tried. And all the people who are pointing, laughing at me, they never did a damn thing with their lives.
Right.
Yeah, okay, you might have made $150,000 a year in your desk job, and that's great, and that's good for some people. I'm not bashing that, but don't point and laugh at me when I'm going for greatness.
Right.
I ain't going for just what everybody else could do, because you put me in that environment, I guarantee I win there. I want to win on a scale against competition I believe I'm a part of. Right, and then it's not winning versus somebody, but it's winning as a business, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But yeah, just reverse your mindset. So as you're going through the dark places, what did I do well?
Right.
What can I learn from here? It's like when you watch film, right?
Yeah.
You watch film after a game and you're like, fuck, we lost. It sucks. But eventually you're like, okay, I can make sure that never happens again by doing X, Y, and Z. Same concept.
Very cool. Do y'all have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Well, I do. So, how soon are you making the move in Fayetteville?
As soon as possible.
possible.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Are you excited?
Very, very.
Nervous at all?
A little bit, but, you know,
Why are you nervous?
the risk, I guess. But, you know, I'm a risk taker. Like you said, you got to be able to, you know, take some risk. But it should pay off. So,
If
yeah.
you keep the mindset, whether it's in football or here, and just keep that mindset of, I'm going to do everything I can to be the best at it. And what I'm guessing, and tell me if I'm wrong here, I'm guessing the arrangement, because you got the season coming up, the arrangement's probably going to be you managing most of it. There's going to be times where you guys will be at each other's throats.
Yeah,
Just understand that you're in it together.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and if you do that, and you'll be good.
I think one of the biggest things for us is like we agree on a lot of the big picture stuff.
Yeah, there's trust there, too,
Yeah.
for sure. So,
Like
That
at the end
matters.
at the end of the day, it's like if you know where you want to end up, the journey there isn't going to, you know, be as crazy. You know what I mean? Because like you guys can kind of balance each other out when you're there's like those lefts in the road. It's like, all right, what do we do next?
Yeah.
Right.
You know. So
And you-
because it's
you've known
never
each other a
you.
while.
It's never you against the person. It's you against the problem. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
That's 100% true. That's a great mindset to have. Also, I always preach this 3 C's: clear, concise communication, right? Clear, concise communication. So if you feel like the trust is broken at all, either of you, have a conversation about it and get an idea of where that person was coming from. Don't just assume.
Right.
Communicate it.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah, have empathy.
For sure.
Understanding. Put yourself in their shoes. Like, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you. He's got an NFL season coming up. There's going to be a lot of pressure on you to perform in that side, just like there is on him to perform on the field.
On the other side, yeah.
And so, you know, be able to communicate with each other. And when things get so hard, because they will, there's never anybody who's been successful who was like, oh man, this was so easy. Like, have you ever heard that? Oh yeah, I just took the easy route.
It'd be a lotto winner. Right?
And if they did, they're lying.
Yes, 100%. So just be willing to clearly, concisely communicate. And I think that's how you get through a friendship, or that's how you do business with friends. Because I think you guys have a good thing with each other, and you know, I do, you know, believe that you're gonna be successful, and you know what you're doing, and you're smart, and you're gonna make it happen.
I appreciate that. Thank
So,
you.
He's teaching me a lot along the way.
Dude, he's
which is,
he's good. He's
I'm very
bright.
appreciative for that.
Because here's the other piece too: is like you have to focus on your craft, because that's the other side of the business, right? So, you know, your side of putting up money. Are you putting up any money?
I'm rolling every commission that I told them that as I wanted to be a partner. Every commission I have, I'm going to roll it into the deals.
So you guys are both putting up money,
Yeah.
and you know it's like you're taking equal risk. You want the best for each other, and you want the best for the business long term. So you'll be good.
Yeah.
Just clearly communicate. And there's stuff that neither of you know that you're going to run into, and that nobody can prepare you for. That you're going to have to learn. And
I wouldn't say nobody. We got you guys.
I was going to say we're
We're
here to
happy
help.
we have great lenders.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
so
We're here to help. So
let me be honest with you. There's stuff. Every deal is different,
Yeah.
right? Every person's different. Every deal is different. So something that might be challenging to y'all might not be something I even think about as a
Yeah.
challenge, and vice versa.
Yeah. And it's nice to have, like, you know, people that you can go to and, who have done it before and kind of have just done it before,
Right.
And we can reach out to and
Anytime.
get get feedback on.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so you were nervous about risk,
Yeah.
money. You guys got all that stuff figured
Definitely
out.
less nervous after this conversation because I feel like I got a lot of insight.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
more excited than anything.
I
to
think
be
you should be
honest.
excited. It's new. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
And how long is the rehab portion going to take?
Shouldn't take
Probably not
too
long, no.
Yeah, like 4 months, like around
That's about right.
Yeah.
3 to 4 months.
3-4 months.
Yeah, and it helps that we have those connections with the contractors, and
Right.
a lot of the stuff we could do that we want to do, we could do in house, honestly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, with the connections that we have.
Well, and you said Fayetteville.
Mhm.
Dude, huge military up there. I know you're doing Section 8 on these ones.
Vietnam.
Yep.
Right. So
2-6.
So another thing to remember is you can kind of leverage the military base a little bit is if you want to expand in that area at all, because a lot of the members there, especially if they're married, they get a stipend to live off base, and that stipend's close to $2,000 a month. So you put a nice place next to that military base. Now you got a stipend that is coming in from them every single month, so that they can pay the rent and you reduce the risk, right? So that's something to think about as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know the area too.
There's a lot of homeless veterans in Fayetteville too, which is another reason why I was like, happy that this was one of the first projects that we were doing, because I don't know. I feel like if you've given so much to this country, you literally laid down your life. Like, you put your life at risk for our freedoms. And then, like, no one's going to take care of you when you come back home. Because, especially when you've done all of those things and you've seen all of those things, there's PTSD. A lot of that can manifest into, mental illness, drug abuse, drug addiction, substance abuse disorders. So it just feels good to be able to take care of people who took care of
A
us.
way of giving back.
It
You
is.
know?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a way it is, and that's a whole nother problem. With
Yeah.
the homeless military population, and the VA in general. It seems like these government-run agencies sometimes they struggle a little bit, but, and it hurts the people that need them. So,
Yeah.
anything else?
Well, I think we covered
Good,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate y'all for being here.
We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
Thank
you
so
having
much.
us.
Oh yeah. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir.
12 sacks this year. Everybody who watched, thank you so much. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead, bang that red subscribe button, turn on the notifications. Monty, Luigi, we appreciate you guys so much. Follow us on all of our social media. We're MBI Financial Group LLC across all our social media. I'm MTG Man Nick. Go ahead, guys, give them a shout out where they find you.
You can find me everywhere at Monty Sells Industrial.
You can find me at Luigi_V. Just want to take the time to say thank you
Thank
to
you.
Nick and Mike. Yeah, we had a great time.
Hell yeah, and go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Keep pounding.
We're out. Peace.
We're out.